All rise. Order, Madam Speaker.
There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer and meditation. You may be seated. Good afternoon to the Honourable Premier, the MECs, the Honourable Chief Whip, all honourable members that is present in the House. Welcome to all of the guests that we are having present with us today. And we are also having special guests in our midst today. Honourable Chief Whip has asked that we should acknowledge he's got very, very important people that has come to visit and to see how he conducts himself in this chamber today, so he's under scrutiny. The sister to the Honourable Chief Whip, Ms. Lungi Mhlaba. I hope, where is Ms. Mhlaba? I'm not sure where is she. Oh, welcome, ma'am, welcome. As well as his brother, Mr. Tony Mhlaba. Can you please stand? Yes, they are both here. Also to indicate to you that they have not come from Sterkspruit, they've not come from Barkley East. They are both staying and working in Zambia. So welcome to South Africa, welcome back. I'm sure that you are enjoying all the beauty of the Eastern Cape, and I'm not sure how long is your stay, but I hope that you will have time also to explore the legislature. We do have a beautiful legislature here today. Honourable members, we have a long day, even though it may look that it's only a few issues that we are having with us today, but it's actually a very long day that we're having ahead of us. So let's get straight into those issues. And I do acknowledge, let me just get this, yeah. Oh, this is my list, made notes on here. That I have received 8 notices of motion. The 9th one of Honourable Mlokoti was scratched off. So I still have 8 notices of motion. So we have member statements, then we have an hour for questions before we get to the tabling. So honourable members, yes, I will once again raise the issue that we must re-look on the issue of the program when it comes to the tabling of the budget votes. This is not ordinary house sittings in this respect. So honourable members, can we then start with the notices of motions from Honourable Gaia? First, Honourable Gaia, oh, on my right, on my right hand side, I must.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Speaker, I move without notice in terms of Rule 130 of the Standing Rules that the House knows with deep concern. I'm getting disturbed.
Honourable Chief Whip and Honourable MEC Mhlaba, you are disturbing Honourable Gaia.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Notes with deep concerns the persistent and growing problem of cable theft across all metros and major cities in the Eastern Cape, including Buffalo City, Nelson Mandela, and all other towns within the province. This continues to disrupt essential services such as electricity, telecommunications, and many more economic activities. Recognizes that this criminal activity not only triples infrastructure and service delivery, but also undermines economic growth, public safety, and the daily livelihoods of our communities. acknowledges the need for a more coordinated and strategic provincial approach to tackle cable theft in partnership with local municipalities, law enforcement agencies, SOEs such as ESCOM, and community policing forums. Therefore, resolve that the Eastern Cape Provincial Government, led by the Premier, task the relevant department to urgently establish a multi-stakeholders provincial task team on infrastructure protection to develop and implement targeted anti-cable theft strategies, promote stricter regulations and monitoring of scrap metal dealers, and increase penalties for the possession and trading of stolen cables. Invest in smart technologies such as surveillance cameras, cable alarms, and geofencing to protect vulnerable infrastructure. Launch provincial-wide awareness campaigns that educate communities about the socio-economic costs of cable theft and encouraging reporting of suspicious activities. Lobby the national government for the declaration of cable theft as a serious crime equivalent to economic sabotage with harsher sentencing guidelines. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I think you mean I so move. Yes, thank you. Honorable members, I put the motion without notice. Thank you. Honorable Vanku.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I move without notice in terms of Rule 130 that the House observe that the Freedom Charter, through the Bill of Rights enshrined in Chapter 2 of our Constitution, enjoins the democratic government to work tirelessly towards the building of safe and secure communities in South Africa. Acknowledge that crime and violent crime in particular, directed at women, children, and the elderly, continue to be a con and a blight to our national image and prestige. Note that the detection and conviction rate of crimes committed against the vulnerable groups, although commendable, continue to be elusive. Also note that the school safety program plays a critical role in combating learner substance abuse and gender-based violence and femicide through its awareness and advocacy programs. However, much ground still needs to be covered. Acknowledge that the justice and crime prevention cluster must be central in the promotion of joint planning and budgeting in response to crime prevalence in the province. Further acknowledge that the community policing and safety forum programs needs revitalization through joint capacitation and support by provincial and local government. Recognize that the provincial drug master plan dovetails with the national anti-gang strategy and drug master plan and must continue to be implemented with the much needed intensity and dynamism. Further recognize that the treatment centers are a cornerstone in providing support and rehabilitation to the victims of violent and reprehensible crime in the province. Urge all law enforcement agencies to work closely with the communities in combating crime and violence and raise the community perception index of them through force of example. I so move. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable members, I put the motion without notice. Thank you. I call upon Honorable Anil Kumar.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and the House at large. I greet you in the name of African National Congress. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move with notice in terms of Rule 131 of the Standing Rules of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature. This House notes that the High Court of South Africa in Pretoria rendered a historic ruling in 2022, March 18th, stating that the dangerously high levels of air pollution in Mhlaba province violate the citizens' right to a healthy and safe environment. This is in accordance with the Section 24 of the Constitution as well as the other provisions. Globally, there is also a change in the pattern of childhood illness, from communicable to non-communicable diseases, many of which are caused by the environmental issues. Honorable Speaker, according to World Health Organization, it estimates that environmental factors account for 124 out of 100,000 children die in South Africa among under 5. And the number of congenital environmental disorders brought by the exposure of environmental risk. The WHO again estimates that the lowering of environmental hazards avert 26% of the childhood mortality and 24% of overall illness that burden the children under 5. Media reports are suggesting that the sewage systems were damaged, allowing raw sewage and poisonous mining waste to flow untreated into water sources. We further note that as parents fight to prevent their kids from swimming in the dirty water of an abandoned sewage treatment plant in BCM to raise major concerns across the communities. Many communities in South Africa and in our province now live in the shadow of thousands of abandoned company sites due to a mix of unscrupulous business activities as well as the total denial of the law. Honorable Speaker, one of the main risk factors of children's exposure to indoor air pollution is the widespread usage of solid fuels. According to the national report, it says that Eastern Cape province is exposed to dangerous emissions of this nature. The buildings, which are frequently neglected for long periods, have the potential to collapse at any time, endangering the lives tragically when playing or strolling close to these dangerous locations. Kids and bystanders have suffered fatal injuries. Therefore, the House to resolve, the legislature should begin drafting legislation and regulations that are focused on children and determining what constitutes acceptable levels of exposure for children. To protect children from harmful environmental exposure, the OTP and Health Department, in collaboration with the sister departments, should launch an advocacy campaign to protect expecting mothers from exposures at work and home. Department of Education and other educational institutions, in conjunction with the local municipalities, to sensitize children to avoid direct contact with sewage, to prevent viruses and other extremely dangerous organisms to prevent entering the body. The Eastern Cape government facilitates the publishing of information on the exposure risk of South African children and adolescents, including their vulnerability and various risk factors, including chemicals and pollution. The legislature will take the lead in carrying out the High Court's order to clean up the ecosystem of the provinces. Lastly, the government to establish clear mandates for converting abandoned and risky structures into safe and beneficial spaces. I so move. Thank you.
Thank you so much, honorable members. We note the notice of motion, and it will then be debated at a later stage in accordance with Rule 133, subsection 1. Thank you so much. Honorable Mhlaba. Can you please switch on your mic?
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, Umkhonto weSizwe Party rises to move a motion without notice in terms of Rule 130 of the Standing Rule of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature that this House notes Chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa states that everyone has a right to life. The MK Party believes that one of the fundamental necessities that a person needs to survive is access to clean and running water. However, In our province, water scarcity remains a daily problem, and as a result, some municipalities are unable to provide water to their communities, leaving residents vulnerable and exposed to diseases as they are required to fetch water from dirty streams. We therefore call upon the executive to give up. We therefore call upon the executive to give up the swift measures to ensure that everyone in this province has access to clean
Honorable
and
members,
running
no, that's not
water.
acceptable.
Secondly, the high rate of poverty and unemployment in our province is alarming. In addition, many people in our province depend on social grants for living and cannot afford to buy basic necessities for their families. We therefore call on the Premier of the province to move swiftly in creating sustainable jobs to our people. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, as per the Christian calendar on the 17th to 20th of April 2025, Christians will be celebrating the death and the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. This means that thousands of Christians will be traveling across our province to places of worship. We therefore call upon Transport Department to intensify road safety campaigns and increase law enforcement visibility on our roads so as to minimize road accidents in our beautiful province during this holy weekend. In addition, people will gather in big numbers in different municipalities in our province for worship and celebration. I therefore move that this House resolve that the MEC for Corporate Government and Traditional Affairs to engage with municipalities across the province to provide enough water for residents and congregants. The MEC to further engage with municipalities to identify suitable rivers, dams, and swimming pools for baptism services to avoid drowning of congregants while they are performing baptismal services. We call on the MEC for community safety to ensure that there is increased police visibility around places of worship to ensure safety of the congregants during this holy weekend. I so move.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. Honorable Member, I put the motion without notice. No. Thank you. It's not agreed to in this House. We move. Honorable Chocho.
Is it right?
Can you please sit down? May you please switch off your mic, Honorable Mhlaba?
Enkosi, Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the EFF to table a motion without notice in terms of Rule 130 of the Standing Rules of the Eastern Cape Legislature, expressing our deepest sorrow and grave concern over the growing number of children who have drowned in the Eastern Cape due to government neglect, lack of infrastructure, and failure to respond to recurring disaster in rural communities. The House notes that we began this year with outbreak when 2 young girls drowned in Flagstaff while trying to cross a river. This House notes that on the 14th of March 2025, another child, Amanda Notununu, a grade 11 learner from Lutubeni SSS in Mkanduli, was swept away by a flooded river while walking to school. She was laid to rest on the 29th of March 2025. This House notes that the tragedy didn't end there, and that while Amanda's family was still mourning, they were struck by another devastating blow. On Sunday, 6th April 2025, a 9-year-old boy from the same family drowned in the very same river that had taken Amanda's life. We call on the House to note that on the same day, an 18-year-old learner from Ngubeni, Bambala, also in Mkanduli, was swept away while trying to make his way home. The House further notes that His body was not yet been recovered at this time of this motion. I call for the House to note that the two children gone in one day in separate incidents in the same locality is no longer a series of isolation incidents. It is an indictment on the Eastern Cape government, especially the Department of Transport, COGTA and Education, who have failed to act. I therefore move that the Department of Transport be compelled to appear before this House to account for its ongoing failure to build bridges and safe roads in flood-prone rural areas. The Department of Education and COGTA, with the relevant department, must identify all disaster-prone schools, route, and immediately development emergency protocols, including accommodation option for learners at school or in nearby home during severe weather. This House urges communities to work together to protect children by opening their homes to stranded learners when needed in solidarity. A joint disaster readiness task team to be established to proactively mitigate weather-related risk to learners across the province. That within 30 days, both departments table a comprehensive plan to prevent more child drowning with clear timelines and budget. We trust that this House will take the recommendation on this motion with the seriousness they deserve. Children are dying on their way to and from school. Meanwhile, tenders for roads, bridges, and transport continues to be issued to looters and political allies who deliver nothing. May Amanda Notununu, Tabisile Makimbela, Inam Baisa, and the two boys from Anduli rest in peace. May their death furthermore ignite justice and change. I so move.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. Honorable Members, I put the motion without notice. Chief Whip, Honorable Chief Whip, yes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me take the opportunity and greet you. Honorable Speaker, before we make a note to the motion, I rise to propose amendment.
Okay.
The amendment goes as follows. Bullet number 1 on the resolved part, that the Department of Transport appears before the Portfolio Committee, not before this House, to account on the bridges that have been built to curb the drowning of learners. Then we remove the bullet itemized as number 5. Then on the one that is itemized as number 9, we correct it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, to be number 5. And then we scratch the part that says, meanwhile, tenders are given for roads, bridges, and transport continue to be issued to looters and political allies who deliver nothing, but leave the part that says, we trust that the House will take the recommendation to this motion with the seriousness they deserve. Children are dying on their way to and from school. Those are the amendments we are bringing. Thank you so much, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Whip. Honorable Chocho, are you amenable to the amendments for your motion to be adopted in the House?
It's fine, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. So it is adopted, therefore. Thank you. I now move to, I now move to Honorable Hendricks.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I greet you with the message of more jobs, no VAT. I hereby move in terms of Rule 131, Sub-Rule 1, that this House notes at present there are an unspecified number of learners who currently reside in undocumented, unaccredited, and informal boarding facilities in the rural parts of the Eastern Cape. For many disadvantaged learners, these informal boarding facilities provide an essential accommodation access, but the lack of formality or accreditation of these facilities pose a significant risk. These boarding facilities are unregulated and operate outside the framework of any official educational and safety protocol. These informal boarding facilities also lack a formal and structural regulatory framework. The absence of oversight creates an environment where basic safety protocols are ignored, leaving children vulnerable to exploitation, abuse, and neglect. A lack of accountability in informal boarding facilities places an undue burden on local communities and educators who are often left to manage vulnerable learners without adequate support. Further noting that the tragic rapes of 5 learners from Mhlaba Senior Secondary School following the violent murder at Mhlaba Royal Homestead, which further served as an informal boarding facility, underscore the urgent need for regulatory oversight of informal boarding facilities. The failure to provide safe and secure living conditions for learners in these facilities have led to irreversible harm, highlighting the necessity for immediate intervention. Therefore, this House notes and resolves that given the necessity of boarding facilities in many rural areas due to the compounding societal ills, the formulation of a regulatory framework and standards of operating mechanisms are paramount. The establishment of regulations for informal boarding facilities would create a transparent system for monitoring and ensuring that facilities are held to account for the well-being of learners. Clear regulations would provide a structured framework for ensuring that both the facilities and the caregivers meet the necessary standards of care and protection. This system should include an accreditation registry, regular inspections, comprehensive reporting mechanisms, and the involvement of community stakeholders. The development of clear protocols for informal boarding facilities would foster a uniform standard of care and consistency across all facilities. Then finally, this would help mitigate disparities in the quality of care provided to learners, ensuring that no child is left at risk due to the inconsistent and poor management practices. I so move.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. We note the motion, and it will then be debated at a later stage in accordance with Rule 133, subsection 1. We now move to Honourable Mohotosi. Sorry for that.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise on behalf of the rural communities and peri-urban communities of the Eastern Cape, and hereby move in terms of Rule 131 of the Standing Rules that this House, noting that South Africa generates approximately 240,000 to 250,000 tons of end-of-life tires annually, representing both an environmental concern and a potential opportunity to promote circular economy practices. 2, that the Eastern Cape continues to face significant road infrastructure challenges, particularly the deterioration of gravel roads that are vital for connecting rural communities to essential services, markets, and economic hubs. 3, that in November 2019, South Africa's first road incorporating recycled tires was constructed in Roodepoort by the CSIR and Much Asphalt, demonstrating the practical viability and durability of this technology. 4, that recycled rubber crumbs are globally recognized as an effective additive in road construction, enhancing performance of bitumen and improving the strength and longevity of road surfaces. 5, that several countries, including Australia, Canada, Ghana, India, Kenya, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Nigeria, and the United Kingdom, as well as the United States, have successfully integrated this approach in their public infrastructure programs. 6, that the Eastern Cape's gravel road, in particular, are vulnerable to damage caused by heavy vehicles such as timber trucks, dairy tankers, and goods delivery vehicles, further underscoring the need for sustainable and resilient road surfacing solutions. Further noting that the rubber-modified bitumen combines 20% crumb rubber and 80% bitumen and extender oils, yielding a stronger and more flexible road surface while contributing to waste reduction efforts. That the Tire Recycling Industry Association of South Africa supports the use of recycled tire materials in public infrastructure through green procurement and circular economy principles. That adopting this technology may promote job creation through the collection, transport, and processing of waste tires, as well as through its application in road maintenance and construction. That rubber-modified roads are also offer safety and environmental benefits, including enhanced grip for motor vehicles, reducing road noise for neighboring communities. Therefore, this House resolved that, number 1, the MEC of Transport establish a task team to assess and pilot the use of recycled tire technology in gravel road construction, prioritizing rural communities with high traffic volumes. Number 2, that MEC of Transport, the MEC of Economic Development and Environmental Affairs and Tourism jointly develop a provincial strategy within the next 90 days to implement at least 3 pilot projects to evaluate recycled tire application in high-use gravel roads environments. Establish a framework for consistent collection and processing of waste tires to support such infrastructure initiatives. Number 3, that the MEC for Transport engage the National Department of Transport to pursue additional funding for sustainable road surfacing solutions incorporating recycled materials. Number 4, that the MEC of Economic Development initiate a support program within the next 60 days to promote local entrepreneurship, job creation in tire recycling sector with a focus of rural development. Number 5, that the MEC of Transport report to this House within 6 months on the implementation of this resolution, including pilot project outcomes and recommendation for broader adoption across the province. I so move.
Thank you so much, honourable members. We note the notice of motion and it will be debated at a later stage in accordance with Rule 133, subsection 1. The last notice of motion is from Honourable King.
I hereby move in terms of Rule 130 of the Standing Rules that this House, noting April...
Honourable members, there is a member that is able.
Okay. Noting April 2025 marks historical significance, the 35th anniversary of the repeal of the Group Areas Act, a key instrument of apartheid-era social engineering, and the 31st anniversary of our first democratic elections, that the Group Areas Act, initially passed in 1950 and formally repealed in 1991, forcibly segregated South Africans along racial lines, displacing families and communities, inflicting both physical and psychological harm, leaving lasting scars on the nation's sense of belonging and identity. That despite the legal abolition of racial segregation, the structural inequalities continue to persist. The built environment must reflect social cohesion and integration. Human settlements development is more than just building houses. It is about transforming lives and ensuring the spatial transformation to address these imbalances through systems that consider the needs and living conditions of people. Further noting that the legacy of the Group Areas Act continues to create significant barriers to social and economic integration, particularly in the Eastern Cape, that addressing the legacy of the Group Areas Act requires urgent and sustainable efforts to invest in infrastructure, promote equitable access to land, and prioritize comprehensive urban planning that fosters inclusivity, integration, and sustainable development for all. Only through concerted effort to rectify these historical injustices can we foster a more equitable and sustainable future for all residents of the Eastern Cape. Therefore, resolved that this House commemorates the 35th anniversary of the repeal of the Group Areas Act and acknowledge the enduring impact it had on the Khoisan traditional kingdoms and the communities across the Eastern Cape, that this House commits to addressing the ongoing consequences of the Group Areas Act by prioritizing investment in infrastructure and essential services to give a sense of hope and dignity to the people of the Eastern Cape, that this House calls on all spheres of government to remain committed to addressing the historical spatial disparities created by apartheid legislation, mitigate against legislation premised on racial disparities and discrimination, and to work collaboratively towards a more just, inclusive, integrated, and equitable society. That this House reaffirms its commitment to ensuring that the legacy of the Group Areas Act does not remain a mere historical footprint, but serves as an ongoing reminder of the work required to heal the wounds of the past and build a future bedrocked on freedom, fairness, opportunity, and diversity for all. I so move.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. Honourable Members, I put the motion without notice for adoption. Thank you. Honourable Chief Whip.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move a motion without notice. I move without notice in terms of Rule 130 that the order paper of today be rearranged in the following manner. Order 4, consideration of vote 15, community safety and transport, follow each other as 1 and 2, immediately after the questions for oral reply, and the rest of the other orders follow the original order as agreed. Thank you very much. I so move.
Thank you, Honourable Chief Whip. Honourable Members, I put the motion without notice for adoption. Thank you so much, Honourable Members. That concludes the notices of motion. Before I go to the member statements, I hope I am correct. My apologies. I hope I am correct. I've seen somewhere that it is it Honourable Saziwa's birthday today? Yes, yes. Somebody will sing for him. You cannot expect me. Somebody will. Where's Honourable Saziwa sitting? Oh, Honourable Saziwa's 10 years. Can you please give him the honor? Yep, yep. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hope you will have a good day enjoying it with us, Honorable Saziwa. Somewhere along the line, I'm sure you will invite. You can give us the address and the time for the after party later on. Please share with all of us. Honorable members, we will now go to member statements. I have only received 2 member statements. That is from the Honorable Chief Whip and from Honorable Kasim. In that respect, hope I've not left anyone out. Can we then immediately hand over to Honorable Chief Whip? Please be reminded, 3 minutes and then 5 minutes for each response by the executive. Over to you, Honorable Chief Whip.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Greetings once again. Honorable Speaker, I rise today with profound disappointment and concern to address the recent not guilty verdict in the case against Timothy Omotoso and his co-accused who faced serious charges of sexual assault and human trafficking. Madam Speaker, after 8 grueling years of legal proceedings, multiple testimonies from brave survivors and significant public attention, the court has delivered a verdict that has left many South Africans questioning our justice system's ability to protect the most vulnerable members of the society. This case represented more than just individual allegations. It highlighted the pervasive issues of gender-based violence, exploitation of power, and the vulnerability of women in our communities. The courage displayed by the complainants who came forward, endured cross-examination and relived their trauma on the witness stand deserves our utmost respect and acknowledgement. Their bravery in the face of intimidation and public scrutiny should not be in vain. Furthermore, I implore the relevant authorities to review the handling of such sensitive cases, including the intensification of witness protection measures and the eradication of procedural barriers that often discourage victims from seeking justice. Honorable members, let this verdict serve as a somber reminder that our fight against gender-based violence and human trafficking requires not only strong litigation, but also effective implementation, a supportive judicial environment, and a commitment to protecting those who speak out. We must work tirelessly to ensure that survivors of gender-based violence and femicide feel safe enough to come forward, are confident that their voices will be heard, and assured that our justice system will serve them with dignity and fairness. I call upon this august House to join me in reaffirming our commitment to addressing the systemic issues that contribute to gender-based violence and femicide. Let us work towards creating a safer South Africa where no perpetrator is beyond accountability and no survivor is denied justice. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chief Whip. Honorable Kasim.
Honorable Speaker, I rise today to speak on behalf of the colored and Indian residents of the northern areas of Nelson Mandela Bay, who year after year have had to endure ward-based capital budget allocations that treat us as second-class citizens. My community, despite being one of the most densely populated areas of the metro, has been blatantly, repeatedly, and shamefully marginalized. In 2018, when the then DA-led coalition was removed after just 18 months, in the very next budget cycle under the ANC and its then coalition partners, which included parties like the Patriotic Alliance, slashed the ward-based capital budget's allocations to the northern areas. Then again in November of 2021, when the then DA-led coalition was replaced, the new ANC-led coalition, which included again parties like the Patriotic Alliance and the Northern Alliance, who campaigned in my community and promised to act in the interest of the northern areas, once again slashed the ward-based capital budget allocations to the majority colored wards in the northern areas. The DA tried to turn the tide in 2022 under Mayor Retief Odendaal. However, after being betrayed by members of the Northern Alliance, his government was replaced with the help of parties again like the Patriotic Alliance, who worked to install the current ANC coalition, which has now put out, it's not a joking matter, which has now put out a disgraceful budget allocation proposal, which offers the people of the northern areas a pittance. Over the past 3 years, the majority colored wards in the northern areas have been allocated less than 8% of the capital budgets to all wards. And in the latest budget proposal that has been released for public participation, one ward, Ward 41, has alone been allocated more for the 25-26 financial year, over 82 million rand, than the 9 majority colored wards in the northern areas combined, which is allocated less than 73 million rand. In fact, Honorable Speaker, wards 10 and 34 has been allocated zilch. As I stand here, feeling sick to my core, I wonder how councillors of parties like the PA and the NA sleep at night after having been part of and electing these ANC-led coalitions, which have deliberately deprived our communities of capital expenditure so desperately needed to, for example, prevent our children in Helenvale from having to play in leaking sewage. So I ask you, Honourable Premier, do you think these allocations are fair? If not, will you act? Yes, will you act? You are also the chairperson of the ANC in the province. Will you instruct the city manager deployed under Section 154 to Nelson Mandela Bay to intervene and ensure that there is equitable allocations in our areas? And will you instruct your ANC caucus in Nelson Mandela Bay to treat our people with fairness and with dignity? I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Kasim. Honorable Premier, you have 10 minutes to respond. You can allocate to the respective MECs if you so wish. 10 minutes only, please. Honorable members, can you please quiet down?
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker. Good afternoon to you and the honorable members and our guests in the gallery. Difficult ones. The Chief Whip, the authority Chief Whip is not here, but we're definitely going to make sure that we get a proper official response on this one. I know Minister has gone public, expressing his disgust, his unhappiness about the outcome. But you would have to understand the independence of the judiciary. So we follow that process to its logical conclusion. Yes, of course, the minister is the one who probably can demand explanations and details. I think she's doing that. So at an appropriate time when we have that information, we'll be able to bring it here, Honorable Chief Whip. So I'm trying to say the authority in this case of the judgment is NPA and under the Department of Justice. That is Honorable Minister Kobai. We share the same sentiments with you. We are all shocked about what has happened. We might not have been there to deal with details as the court deals with facts at its disposal. On Honorable Kasim, this pity confusion, but I think Honorable Williams can try that one. I think the only solution there in Nelson Mandela is to have the DA back into that coalition. Probably they will understand it better. And now that they are outside, they are trying to create things that are not existing. But I think we can get that from MEC, but we will ask Mayor to give us specific answers onto this. But I think Honorable Vena can try, as well as Honorable Ramsey. So I think Honorable Williams can try for the last few minutes. But I think we can get Honorable Executive Mayor giving us a detailed response on the ward allocation, ward-based allocation. From where I'm standing, I won't lie, I wouldn't really know the budget formula they are following.
You've got 7 minutes, actually.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, the members of the executive, members of the House, our stakeholders and our people in the gallery, and those in the social media platforms. Yeah, Honorable Speaker, quite a complex question to respond to it offhand without the details of the budget process that the Honorable Kasim is talking about, and how any municipality would actually deprive certain communities the right to projects which they must benefit to change their lives. I would not really imagine that a council would deliberately do so, but it's a matter worth a speedy investigation just to ascertain if there's truth in what is being raised. And indeed, we have deployed officials in Nelson Mandela to try and work towards ensuring that the municipality, especially the administration, works professionally to ensure that budgets are actually allocated equitably. But at the end of it all, in the final analysis, it is the Council of Nelson Mandela that arrives at decisions on allocating those resources. And I would want us to investigate that, Honorable Speaker, and then we will be able to respond effectively on that if there's any truth in what the member is raising. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. That concludes the member statements. We will now go to the questions. And on the oral paper, we have 43 questions. And they have all received their replies, have been issued. What I will do in trying to allow as many honorable members to pose their questions today, I will try to skip a few that are posing to the same respective MEC twice, and also those who possibly might have 2 or 3 questions on the order paper, just to see how far we can go. I do have that latitude to deal with the question paper in that regard. Honorable members, this is just because we very rarely get to issues of social development, of rural, of safety, and of sports, because the questions I have on previous occasions requested that members must be concise in asking questions, but when you have a question with 5 subsections, it basically, I have timed it, it's between 22 minutes that if you ask the Premier that he spends 22 minutes responding, it's a joke between myself and the Premier and asking him to be more concise in his responses to certain of these. But also I think I am requesting honorable members also to take note of the guidance that I am issuing to them. Yeah. First question from Honorable Dr. Knudsen to the Premier. Honorable Premier.
Thank you once more again, Honorable Speaker, and greetings once again to all our guests, including those who are on social media, and greetings to Mrs. Mabuyane in absentia. The first answer to Honorable Knudsen, thank you very much, is that the Amatola Water Board is an entity that belongs to the National Department of Water Affairs and Sanitation. Having heard about all the complaints and issues, dossiers, I've myself spoken to the Minister. We convened a meeting with Minister and the MEC, and we requested that every matter that has been raised must be investigated. So it's up to the Minister to decide whether she goes for forensic or whatever. But we said everything that has been raised must be investigated so that we can seek the truth from facts. On the question 2, the Amatola Water Board is an entity, as I've said, that belongs to the national space in the purview of the department. Myself, I've consulted the Minister, as I've just indicated, on the intervention. And we have been dealing with the situation that has been happening there on the ground. MEC has been hands-on, even in facilitating some discussions to bring back normality into that space. The subsection 3, the Department of Water Affairs and Sanitation, as the mother body of Amatola Water Board, intervene if the services rendered are not satisfactory. So we are actually using a cooperative governance into that space to come in where necessary. Yes, municipalities are affected a lot because when there are problems there, they affect the municipalities and all that. But through the Department of Cooperative Governance, we are able to participate in trying to resolve problems that are there. But that doesn't change the fact that Amatola is an independent SOE that is under a national government, Department of Water Affairs and Sanitation. That's the question from Dr. Knudsen. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Premier. Dr. Knudsen, are you satisfied? You have a follow-up?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And I just want to also thank the Premier for having that engagement with the National Minister, because at the end of the day, it is the people in the Eastern Cape that are affected by poor service delivery by Amatola Water. So my follow-up question is just related to that monitoring and reporting, because I actually think the Premier answers my first question in the second question. Is it possible for him to share such monitoring reports with us as the House as well? Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Premier.
Yes, definitely. If that's legal and is allowed, we can definitely share the kind of interaction from a monitoring point of view as we are interacting with the minister. I know I convened one of the meetings in one of evenings, an agent meeting, when we had a crisis there, and with the minister, with all the teams, wanted to go in detail with issues that are there. So clearly we can consolidate that information to indicate the status quo and where are we now in terms of processes in dealing with the matter. Of course, we'll be soliciting that from the minister herself. We cannot just do our own report outside the jurisdiction of the competence where it belongs.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. From Honorable Woodendal to the Honorable Premier.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Also, thanks very much to Honorable Odendaal. The list of the departments that are owing, the municipalities, it is there. Currently, the Department of the Public Works and Infrastructure is owing almost $500 million to the municipalities across. I think the only thing that we needed there is almost to dissect that because this department are two, there will be national and a provincial one, but that's a round figure that we have in terms of Department of Public Works and Infrastructure. Health owes 269 million. DELRAD, which is also the national department, owes about 88 million. Education owes about 177 million. The municipalities are also owed by the national departments, as I've indicated, like DP, Public Works, at that amount that I reflected, I indicated, which is almost 242 million. The second sub-question there, cash flow challenges are the causes for the non-payment of the current accounts. That's the information that we have. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, on question 2.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Woodendal.
The Honorable Speaker, Honorable Odendaal has asked that I ask on his behalf. Through you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, the question is, follow-up question is, what measures is your administration putting in place to ensure that the provincial government and its departments is current in terms of its municipal account payments, as is the requirement of the PFMA?
Through you, Speaker, thank you very much. The PIF that just recently met was looking at this matter in detail. Post that there's a team that has been set up through Provincial Treasury to monitor this issue and ensure that every government department pays. We're looking at all possible mechanisms, even if we can go for something called a stop order where possible, because we've got to get municipalities getting their money in order for them to actually deliver services to our people. So we are encouraging our government departments to prioritize services like this. We have seen a situation where they've been closing down water, closing down electricity. Sometimes I encourage them myself, and only to realize when they do it with Department of Health, no, it's wrong. You can't kill people, don't close. But I want departments to own up, to take full responsibility. So we are actually monitoring this situation.
Thank you so much, Honorable Premier. Question from Honorable Anil Kumar to the Honorable Premier.
Thank you very much. As I've said, there's also another question from Odendaal, question 3, but it's clear, it gives all the details.
Honorable Premier, you are now responding to the question from Honorable Anil Kumar, to yourself.
I was seeing this new Odendaal seated over that side, so I wanted to. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Well, the answer is that on the first question, the operational and the construction phase of Hive Hydrogen, that is 105 billion. Project, it is, as I've indicated. The second bullet there is that the completion of the following projects: Parson Power Park, 2.7 billion, operational phase of Stellantis at 3 billion. So I'm just responding that we are at that operational construction phases of these project as asked. The construction and operation phases of the strategic investment group Africa investment in Island and IDZ.
Thank you. Honorable Anil Kumar, are you satisfied with the responses? Thank you. A question from Honorable Dr. Bese to the Honorable Premier.
Honorable Speaker, there were also a couple of questions from...
I thought you deliberately
Okay.
omitted those ones.
No, I didn't. Quickly, sub question 2, small enterprises will benefit a number of ways through the new investment, value chain integration opportunities, construction opportunities, access skills and technology. Sub question 3, government has a clear role of creating enabling conditions for investors in the province. We as the Eastern Cape have undertaken certain initiatives in order to create the enabling environment by strengthening the investment coordination in the province through establishment of the Provincial Investment Council. The last one, investment pledges generated at the 2023 investment conference, which are still under implementation, will generate over 15,000 jobs during the construction and operational phase combined. The last one, Honorable Bese, questions. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. On Mtendo Bridge, the project is still under construction with the contractual completion date set as October 2027. There's a request for extension of time under review. This is contractually acceptable. Mhlaba Bridge was contractually supposed to complete on the 8th of March 2025. Similarly to the above, the request for extension of time and acceptance of the revised program is under review. This is also contractually acceptable. Sub question 2, Mtendo Bridge project is adhering to the approved budget. There's no need for requirement for additional funding at this stage. Mhlaba Bridge is ongoing under the approved budget. The need for additional budget is uncertain at this stage, pending the program review and extension of time under review as mentioned above. I must indicate, Honorable Speaker, the challenge of stop and go in these catalytic projects. I think that's a major problem that always lead us to escalation of cost, etc. Subsection 3, yes, the locals are benefiting a lot and protected by the contract participation goal, which ranges between a minimum of 30 to 35%. But also there's a lot of social responsibility work that is done. I think recently there was a major, the food security projects that were launched, facilitated by Sandral in those areas. So Sandral also has many road construction community development projects, which mainly are the surfacing of communities. So almost all communities along that road will benefit by having access road being surfaced as well, as we all see in the other projects that are happening. The Eastern Cape Parks and Tourism was identified by the authorities reference group as an appropriate agency to implement the biodiversity offset project on behalf of the Sandral, and subsequently the ECPTA was appointed. This partnership is also benefiting locals. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Dr. Bese.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I'm quite happy with the response.
Thank you, Honorable Dr. Bese. Question from Honorable Pretorius to the MEC responsible for community safety.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to you, to honorable members, distinguished guests, and all those who are watching the proceedings through the social media. The response is that the National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide is taken so serious in the province as that it is coordinated by the Office of the Premier, which then ensures that key programs are streamlined in response to the scourge of violence against women and children. The programs are implemented by different role players and OTP monitors and coordinate through gender machinery, which further reports to JCPS cluster, which is coordinated by Community Safety. And some of the key programs include the 100 Days Challenge, which is a program of building capacity of rapid response teams that play a crucial role in localization of awareness and other responses. Substance abuse and crime awareness programs coordinated mainly by the actors such as social development, community safety, SAPS, and civil society organizations. And beyond the 16 days, there are commemorative days such as International Women's Day, Disability Rights Awareness Month, Human Rights Month, World TB Day, which are platforms to increase awareness and messaging. These have also been platforms for teenage pregnancy campaign, economic empowerment of women campaign, men involvement in fighting the scourge. And the second part of the response is that the department is mandated to monitor the implementation of the JCPS program of action on a quarterly basis as the mechanism to advance the provincial GBVF strategy. And the detail there is there.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. Honorable Pretorius, are you satisfied?
Yes, thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. From Honorable Kasim to the MEC responsible for community safety.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable. The first part of the response is that the issue of procurement of vehicles, for instance, is a centralized function, and therefore we don't have that details. And then as it relates to the vehicles to be repaired, the function of garages has just recently been decentralized to provinces. It has not been fully operationalized, and therefore we wouldn't have that detail at this stage. That's a response there, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Kasim. Can I just ask, just hold on, are you finished even with the third question that asked about timeline? Is it the same response that you have no information currently?
Yeah, that's the same response.
Thank you. Thank you then. You may be seated. Honorable Kasim.
Through you, Honorable Speaker, I am genuinely concerned because my follow-up to the MEC, the whole point of the Department of Community Safety is to exercise oversight over SAPS. It's part of the function. So how is it possible that you have no details about what SAPS is planning to do in terms of procuring police vehicles? You have no details about what plans are there in place to repair existing vehicles that are not functional. Are you basically saying to me that your department has now become incompetent in its function to have the necessary information in its oversight function of what's happening in SAPS?
Honorable MEC.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I don't know this member who pretends to know the function more better. The issue, the point that I'm raising, Honorable Speaker, is that we do our oversight role by ensuring that we do the visits of police stations and ensure that SAPS does its work. That's a general role that we do. As it relates to the vehicles to be procured, it's national. And therefore, what we can do is to request national to provide us with that information. I can only request maybe some extension for about a month, as we are not in control. It will not be in our control to get that.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. Thank you. Can we then go to the next question from Honorable Kruger to the MEC responsible for cooperative governance and traditional affairs?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and greetings again to members of the legislature. Honorable Speaker, the Marina Glen project in Buffalo City The original budget estimate to complete that project was 70 million. And due to limitations in the budget, they opted to have a phased approach in order to accommodate the available budget. And phase one was targeting roads and stormwater, and the contractor was appointed, and that contractor is currently on site to implement phase one. And the amount allocated for that is a total of 15.2 million. I think the member has got the response. The breakdown of cost versus expenditure to date, phase two is targeted to deal with ablution blocks, dry areas, amphitheater, communal pavilion, fencing of the area, waste bins, bench area, and lighting of the entire area, including landscaping and beautification. At this stage, the breakdown below is purely based on estimated figures because other phases have not, the contractor has not been yet allocated. But the total amount of the other phases which are still to be implemented amounts to 66.8 million. At this stage, there's no amended budget. The project was phased into components to accommodate the budget available to implement currently. Only roads are being attended to, and the next phase will include those things I've mentioned, amphitheater, dry areas, and ablution facilities, including lighting. They will still go out on tender for this phase of the project. And so far, there's been no appointment made by Buffalo City to encompass the whole scope of the works that should still be done. There's no revised scope. Indeed, because they finally did not perform the environmental impact study, the municipality was then penalized by the Department of Environmental Affairs, and the initial cost of the penalty was 10 million. But because of engagements between the municipality and the department, the penalty was reduced to 500,000. As I said, EIA was not conducted, and that's why the project is now on a standstill and is fenced off so that the work could not continue without the finalization of the environmental impact analysis. And all of us know the sensitivity of the area because it is next to the sea. The Metro did a geotechnical study, and the overall results did not flag it as a major challenge which will prohibit the Metro from continuing with their business of upgrading the facility. But water issues have been looked into in terms of the geotech report. The municipality formed a steering committee which will deal with all the projects that will be implemented by the municipality by having continuous engagements with DDIT so that similar occurrences may be identified and managed before any negative environmental outcomes may happen. Consequence management is not only about punishment. Officials will be taken to training so that to avoid similar occurrences. I think, Honorable Speaker, I've been there myself. I've addressed Buffalo City, and I've raised this project as one of the projects that should not have happened because of lack of environmental impact study. As to how it happened is still unconscionable Thank you very much, Honorable.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. Honorable Kruger, are you satisfied with the responses?
I have a follow-up question, please, Honourable
Yes,
Speaker.
you may proceed.
Thank you, Honourable MEC. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your candor at saying that this project should never have happened. Honourable MEC, either you are misleading this House or you have been misled in the information that you provided here. And I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt to say that you have been misled. The council, municipal council, was never informed that this project would have multiple phases. The council and the approved amount of 4 million rand for this project is what it approved. It now turns out that this project will be phased approach with a budget of 70 million. Is this not dishonesty by the administration towards council? And should this not be stopped before this becomes another one of the projects which we discussed in this House yesterday that become abandoned projects, that become a drain on the fiscus, and that there is a lack of accountability? Should we not intervene before this project becomes another one of those? Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable MEC, response.
Honorable Speaker, I would not agree to being misled. I've got data with me about the project. Not unless we share the information between myself and the member. Now, the project has been stopped because it is not compliant with EIA processes. And I am saying, therefore, no municipality that is self-respecting should actually even begin to implement a project without EIA, especially in a sensitive area like Buffalo City with the sea and groundwater. Now, the challenge that I'm having, Honorable Speaker, is that I've got project details and the amounts that have been budgeted for by the municipality against the 4 million that is talked about, that I don't know whether it comes from the budget or is somewhat thumbsucked by the member. Not unless we share these numbers, I would not really say I've been misled. I stand by my numbers unless the member convinces me otherwise. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. I think there will be sharing of information after this meeting. From Honorable Vimbayo to the MEC responsible for cooperative governance and traditional affairs, MEC Williams.
Ndisebenze Buffalo City. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Yes, what we did, Honorable Speaker, we have established a team that works between the two metros of our province to deal with matters of billing, service delivery, and broad transport issues that affect these two municipalities' metros. And as we deal with them, especially Buffalo City, in respect of billing, they have now taken the transversal tender from the National Treasury to procure meters so that the billing can be up to date and processes can actually be satisfying to all the consumers of services of Buffalo City. And so they've started installing those smart meters which assist them in the accuracy of readings. However, it must be noted that many of the smart devices with retrofit are vandalized in areas such as Dimbaza, Zwelicha, and Mdantsane. And the city has started the process of replacing all those vandalized meters with new water meters. Well, the city has also reviewed specifically registers for meters associated with billing for the entire city to ensure completeness of revenue. Monthly billing of static charges such as property rates, refuse removal, sewerage, and sanitation is consistent and where applicable, and any issues are dealt with on a case-by-case basis. And they have now since established a query management system which can be accessed online. Customers log their queries, and these are attended to accordingly. Now, the AG has also audited fully the billing system of Buffalo City. On whether the billing is transparent, the BCM's billing system produces and is distributed monthly statements as mandated in the applicable legislation such as the Systems Act. And they ensure that the billing is transparent, accurate, and fair. The issue is, how do we then deal with complaints that are raised by consumers effectively so that consumers can understand? But sometimes when we are consumers and we have not paid our debt, it's difficult to agree with the municipality because of the heftiness of the debt that has been unpaid for a long time. Customers have access to all financial data related to their accounts at any given time, and the Auditor General implements full audit of the billing system. Their billing is working in line with the MFMA regarding revenue management, but there's still lots that should be done to ensure that they improve in terms of the collection rate, because it has dropped quite a lot. And it may be because of the consumers not being satisfied with the accounts. All budget-related policies have been reviewed annually and are approved by the Council for implementation in each budget year. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. Honorable Vimbayo, are you satisfied with the responses? Thank you. We will now go to Honorable Ganuza Nkwencha, or the MEC responsible for economic development, environmental affairs and tourism.
Good afternoon, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, MECs, honorable members of this august House, and everybody that is part of this House, and those that are watching in the social media. That is question 12, Speaker. Or what about 11?
Yes, no, you are at 12.
Oh, Baya Danki, Speaker. And the question raised here, Speaker, we have given what was happening in the previous years, that export USA represented only 5% in 2022, 6.4% in 2023, and 4% of the total Eastern Cape exports in 2024. And we have given also what commodities are we, or products that we are exporting to the US, and the investment that we are getting from the US. But what will be the key implications in the last page is that the foreign direct investment will be affected, as sanctions from USA may deter USA-based automotive companies from investing in South Africa, and more especially in the Eastern Cape, as we know that Eastern Cape is leading when it comes to the automotive industry. And also this will reduce price competitiveness, risking loss of export markets, e.g. EU. The developing global tensions come at a time when our automotive sector is facing challenges with a decline in domestic demand and production volumes. Also, the loss of competitiveness, any tariffs imposed on our products will affect our export volumes to the USA and make our products less competitive in the market. And duty-free access, there's a potential loss of AGOA, would lead to certain products losing their duty-free access to the USA market, e.g. the automotive. And the perception is that the ongoing tension with the USA will likely have a negative impact on our brand, especially on perception-sensitive sectors such as our tourism. So we are also concerned as the department, and we are busy collecting all the information to check how this will affect Eastern Cape, and we are sure that we are going to be affected negatively. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much. Honorable Ganuza Nkwencha, sitting that side. Are you satisfied with the response? Can you please put on your mic?
Yes. Honorable Speaker, I'm satisfied with the response. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just for Honorable Dr. Knutzer, I am trying to give as many members an opportunity to pose their questions. I am noting there are about 4 or 5 members that are asking to several MECs. So we're just trying to spread it in that respect. You have received all your written responses, so there's no harm done. Honorable Gela, to the MEC responsible for economic development, environmental affairs and tourism.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As the department, we will utilize the existing financial instruments to support any businesses in distress, whether disaster-specific or any other distress nature. Through ECDC, a provincial job stimulus fund is in place that provide funding to distressed businesses. So all those distressed businesses will have to submit applications to ECDC so that they can benefit from the job stimulus fund. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. Honorable Gela, are you satisfied? Which side is Honorable Gela sitting? Oh, yes, Honorable Deputy Chief Whip.
Ogela is represented by me, and we are satisfied, Honorable Speaker.
I see the Deputy Speaker is showing to me in front, so you are the only one there. You would have made like that to Honorable Luciti. Thank you so much, Honorable Chief Whip. From Honorable Hendricks to the MEC responsible for education.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to the Premier and the House at large. Honorable Speaker, we have been able to break down the backlog of 82 billion, which arises out of 2020, Honorable Hendricks, into 72 billion now. But the crisis we have is that this is not just a financial backlog, but a deficiency and a structural backlog. If you look in terms of the rationalization, alignment, and measure of schools, which culminates into that, we have been able to secure a budget of 1.8 per annum in order to deal with the infrastructure backlog that we have. But if you analyze the backlog that we're talking about and the allocation thereof, it comes to a reality that we may not be able to conclude it by 2030 as outlined in terms of the NDP. And you would rather need an extraordinary reinforcement of the budget for you to be able to deal with that within the 17 years that have been identified. But again, Honorable Speaker, on question 2, we are currently engaged on VN's Kosana Agricultural School in Namatole East. We are also currently engaged on Nom Safrans in Krisani West. And also we are engaged, in fact, we are completing the Ntsokota boarding facility. In fact, we have already completed it this week. We are supposed to be handing over it in May next month through the Office of the Premier. We are currently engaged on 58 schools in the current financial budget, schools that are engaged in terms of constructions. That's how far I can summarize. It's quite a loaded one, but that's how far I can summarize, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. Honorable Hendricks, are you satisfied with the response?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Just 1 or 2 follow-ups for the sake of clarity. Let me say for the purpose of record. Chairperson, through you, Honorable MEC, thank you for your frank and honest answer. The 2 schools that you referenced as new infrastructure that is designated for this financial year, In your answer in writing, you state that the delivery is for the outer years. So the planning phase has kicked in, but delivery is planned for the outer years. Are you saying to me, Honorable MEC, that in 12 months, you cannot complete, or your department cannot complete one single school? And thank you for the handover of the hostel that is planned for May. Are you then also telling me that in terms of infrastructure delivery, it took over 12 months to complete one hostel? Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable MEC.
No, thanks. Thanks, Honorable Speaker. The question was about the delivery of the school. There is a difference between the delivery of a school, which is complete, and the actual planning, procurement process and everything. So the question was referring to the holistic process, which I am therefore referring to, Honorable Speaker. Indeed, there are a number of schools that are being handed over that are completed. We were just making a reference to the ones that we think could at least come closer to the question that was raised here. Otherwise, we will furnish other information that the honorable member might need beyond the point of the question that he was raising.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. From Honorable Saziwa to the MEC responsible for education, there is a thesis written. Honorable MEC.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker. The department through the NSS fee has implementation of schools ever since that comes through the system and also through the SAFE program that the honorable member is raising. And these are the highlights of the question that probably we need to respond to. That we have been able to train the district school safety coordinators. We have been able to distribute the NSSF documents to all districts in the province. We have also established the school safety structures across all the levels in terms of the operations. But also equally, we have been able to resource both financial and human resource to become key in the challenge for the realization of the very same NSSF question. But there are 3 areas that I also want to refer to as part of the mitigation for the challenges that the honorable member was raising. One is on the submission drawn to advocate the increase of the budget, which was earmarked to be 10 million. And the other one was to draw to the list at the vehicles from the Department of Transport, a double cab with a canop, which is a matter that we are currently engaged on. And the last one is the issue of the personnel of the department, which were advised to extend the scope of work in terms of keeping the boys in terms of the program that is there. Honorable Speaker, I'm not so sure, but it's quite a load one, almost 5 pages.
Are you satisfied with your responses?
Yes.
Honorable Member, are you satisfied with the responses, Honorable Saziwa?
Yes, Speaker.
Thank you. From Honorable Lizo to the MEC responsible for finance. MEC of Finance.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Oh, the question 17. Oh, thank you very much. Apologies for that. You see, this approach is catching us. I know. The performance on conditional grants by Nelson Mandela Bay Metro has been affected by the issue of acting capacity of the acting of the city manager, because the metro, if Honorable Speaker, has had so many acting city manager, acting CEO, and about 6 of their executive directors have been acting. Now, a provincial treasury, and this has been over a long period of time. So provincial treasury will continue with the following strategies. 1, engagement with the MEC Finance, with the political leadership on quarterly basis with respect to financial performance, which include conditional grants, which is something that we do throughout the provinces on a quarterly basis. We visit all municipalities. Though the Nelson Mandela Metro is non-delegated, we still do visit both Nelson Mandela and the Buffalo City. The Director of Municipal Infrastructure in Provincial Treasury will serve in the Strategic Steering Committee chaired by the Acting City Manager on a monthly basis in supporting the Metro. The next meeting is scheduled for the 24th of April. Provincial Treasury will work closer with national transferring officers that of those departments as mentioned there, as the Metro is not a delegated municipality. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much, MEC. Honorable Liso, are you satisfied with the responses?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much. From Honorable Zinti to the MEC responsible for health.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Can I just establish who is standing in for Honorable Zinti? Oh, yes, okay.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to you, the Premier, members of the Executive, and members of the House.
You are speaking very softly, MEC. Just...
Oh, so long. My apologies for that.
Now we can hear you.
Thank you so much. I will try and respond to the question, although we have submitted the questions. On the question number 18.1, in terms of our understanding as the department and in consultation with the CEO of the hospital, water has been available at Nomumpumelelo Hospital in the past 3 years. And the hospital has got a borehole just to augment when there's no water. But we can confirm that there were some interruptions due to vandalism in 2023, and that by the way attended to. So we do have water in Nompumelelo. Thank you. And then the next one, about the clinics in BCM, about 30 clinics were assessed in 2023-2024 financial year. Due to fiscal constraint, we are unable to renovate or construct, but we are planning to implement in this financial year, which is 2025-2026. When I'm tabling the budget speech and policy speech, we'll touch on that. There are quite a number of that we've identified. We've already started with the construction of fencing in the majority of the clinics in BCM. And then the next one, in terms of the clinic in Greenfields, the department has made plans to install a new temporal structure there, but we are still doing some assessment in terms of the site, because remember that we didn't have a site. The site was donated to us by BCM municipality, so our project unit is still doing some assessment in terms of that. The project specification is at a stage 1 and is ready for presentation to the bid committee. We are anticipating that we can only construct a clinic in 2026-2027. At the moment, we are just providing a temporal structure so that the clinic can continue to provide services to our communities. The new preferred site has been allocated, as I said earlier, by the Buffalo City Metro. Consultants have been appointed to plan for the fixed structure, as I said earlier. A feasibility study is being conducted. The project is moving at a little bit slow pace as anticipated due to financial constraints that we faced as a department. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really need an induction of our staff. Honorable Zinti, Honorable Geller, are you satisfied with the response? Oh no, it's not Honorable Geller, sorry. Gotcha.
On behalf of Honorable Zindi, I note the response. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, Honorable Cowley to the MEC for Health. I keep on forgetting. Honorable Cowley, to ask the MEC of Health.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On question 1, in terms of a CEO of Livingston and Frere Hospital, we did advertise, but there was poor response to that. We have now re-advertised, and the closing date was on the 21st of March. Shortlisting will take place on the 14th to the 17th of April. Frontier Regional Hospital, shortlisting has been is planned for tomorrow, which is the 10th of April, and we are anticipating that the interviews will take place in the week of 14th and 17th of April. And then the next one, there are 4 vacancies for CEOs. It's the Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital, Frere Tertiary Hospital, Livingston Tertiary Hospital, and the Frontier Regional Hospital. Itoranginza, we've appointed, the CEO started last month. In terms of the one in Nelson Mandela, we also, it was advertised and interviews were done, but there's been quite a number of administrative issues and appeals in relation to the one of Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital. We are of the view that once we conclude those processes, then we can appoint, that's the last one. And then on the issue of Livingston Tertiary Hospital, there was no insufficient pool of suitable candidates. That is why we re-advertised, as well as Frere. We are hoping that now that we've re-advertised again, we are hoping that we'll get a positive response. And then, I think that's the last one on this question. Whether I should continue to the next one from Honorable Cowley?
No, don't jump the queue. Thank you. Honorable Cowley, are you satisfied? Are you satisfied with the responses?
I do have a follow-up. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you very much for the response. I just want to know, in terms of Livingston Hospital, this is not a new story. I mean, Livingston Hospital has not had a permanent CEO for more than 5 years. Are there not other factors at play that are preventing the post of a permanent CEO being filled at this hospital? Because for 5 years now, honestly, we haven't had a permanent position there, and it impacts terribly on the management of these tertiary hospitals if they don't have permanent CEOs. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Cowley. MEC?
Thank you. What I know is we have advertised at some point, and somebody was appointed but declined. So we had to start the process. And when we started the process, there were few people who applied. Hence, we are restarting the process. So you might never know whether it's because of the issues that are happening in Gqeberha, of crime and other things. But as the department, we've done our part in making sure that we continue to recruit so that we get a suitable candidate. But for the services, I think we do have an acting CEO who is doing a sterling job there. Uma Munoche is holding the fort while we're still trying to recruit.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. We'll move on to the question from Honorable Aloni to the MEC responsible for health. That would be your question. That would be your question 21, MEC.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We are aware of the case that they're talking about, that an alleged 29-year-old woman who delivered at Butterworth Hospital on 11/11/2022 underwent a cesarean section because she had had a previous cesarean section. She was discovered to have severe adhesive scar to the bladder from the previous operation. The operation was done under the anesthesia. On the release of the adhesion, she suffered a small cut on the bladder due to the severity of the attachment to the scar tissue of the bladder. The cut was repaired and the catheter was inserted to facilitate healing. After 2 weeks, the woman was sent to Frere Hospital, and X-rays were used to check the visual of urinary bladder status. According to the report from our clinicians, no urinary bladder leak was detected and the catheter was removed. She was able to control bladder actively on her own. After the removal, she continued to visit the hospital complaining about the burning menstruation and was given antibiotics. She continued to complain and on the ability to control urine and was examined by a doctor at Butterworth Hospital where no abnormalities were detected. There is currently no evidence of loss of control of bladder actively. Clinical management is offered whenever the patient visits our facility. A disability grant form was completed for the patient, but the assessment that was done indicated that there's no abnormality. As a result, she did not qualify for the grant. There is a plan underway to refer the patient to Frere Hospital for a second opinion.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. Honorable Aloni, any follow-up questions? Are you satisfied?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we are not satisfied with the...
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable, next question from Honorable Chocho to the MEC responsible for health.
Thank you, Speaker. This one refers to the issue of the circular that was distributed by the department in relation to the accommodation of clinicians. We have not terminated the accommodation for clinicians. The department is implementing the policy of the department and is making sure that provisions of the policy are adhered to. Critical provisions that are being prioritized are the following: the provision of accommodation to compulsory categories, that is the clinical interns, community service personnel, government to government employees, and student nurses. A revision of tariffs and payment of market-related tariffs. As the department, we felt that we were paying a lot of money. We are not paying a market-related price in terms of accommodation for our clinicians and staff. So we're reviewing that. You'll find that in some instances, as a department, we are renting a two-bedroom flat at 15,000, so which is not acceptable. We've even begun to engage our business people in order to reduce the tariffs. A disclosure of accommodation contributions by the employer as a fringe benefit in line with SARS, because previous it was not. Remember, this service was at some point was put in place for retention strategy. But at some point you'll have as a department to review your strategy, whether it's still relevant. That is exactly what we are doing as a department. And again, we need to capture all these transactions on PESAL, considering other applicable benefits that seeks to ensure that rural clinicians are incentivized. That is, we pay them a rural allowance, in-nodal allowance, a housing allowance. This consideration seeks to ensure that the benefits are streamed and avoid a double dipping, so that we don't pay you rural allowance at the same time we provide you with accommodation. Allowing the non-compulsory category to take over the existing list, and those that are accommodated who do not qualify in terms of the policy, we are requesting them to take up the list on their own. The department did embark on consultation. I can confirm I went to Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital myself to meet with the clinicians, engaging them about the issue of the policy on accommodation. Adequate notices were also served to employees. The housing committee at the institution level were provided with all the opportunity to further engage and explore alternatives. A provincial accommodation appeals committee is still engaging with the facilities as the department has further extended the implementation of the circular. As a department, we have extended up to June, given another 3 months so that we facilitate the issue of appeals, especially for the Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital. The department has allocated a decentralized budget to hospitals to undertake minor repairs and maintenance-related projects. The head office undertake works classified as capital works, including accommodation provision and among others. Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital has not had a director facility manager since the post was vacated approximately 5 years ago. As a consequence, the facility has been struggling to utilize their budget fully. But we can confirm that we have advertised the post and we're in a recruitment process now. Program manager unit has been requested to assist with the necessary technical expertise to refurbish accommodation units at that facility. The project is at its planning phase, projected to be in the FDPM stage 5 works and on the third quarter of 2025-2026 financial year. This will provide more affordable accommodation on site for the qualifying employees. I don't think that I need to dwell much on the list of the people that are service providers for accommodation for us. We have submitted that. The department has undertaken a cost-saving project. Among these is the correct implementation of the accommodation policy. The department cannot continue to pay for the expensive rent, especially where the employees falls outside the prescripts of the policy. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. Honorable Chocho, are you satisfied with the response?
Enkosi, Honorable Speaker, MEC uvakala ngathi uclueless kwi-issues zakwa health, so asikho satisfied. Enkosi.
Aye. No, we just ignore that. Yes. We will move over. Who is standing in for Honorable Geller? It's no one. So Honorable Geller is not in the house. We will move on to the last question of the day from Honorable King to the MEC responsible for human settlement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The short answer, I think the full answer to the question paper was submitted to the member. Of the 6,284 targets, the department has, as of the 15th of April, concluded 6,115, even though that number, Honorable Speaker, has not been audited. Thank you.
Honorable King, are you satisfied? Can you?
I have a follow-up question, Speaker.
Yes, you may proceed.
Okay. Honorable MEC, this is an unaudited number. However, in your policies review statement, it was mentioned that close to 4,300 houses were delivered. Are we certain that only 6,115 houses were delivered, which is still a shortfall? You mentioned financial constraints year on, year out. What measures has been put in place to ensure that the financial constraints in this current budget will be addressed to meet the quantum adjustments?
Honorable King, your first part dealt directly with the question. Your second part is a totally new question that you are posing to the MEC.
Thank you for the protection, Honorable Speaker. The 4,000 was at the third quarter of the last financial year. The 6,115 is at the end of the financial year. Yes, and I think all the other factors that the Honorable Member is speaking to, but I think worth noting is that we were sitting at the end of the financial year with 2,911 of the houses in various stages. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, honorable members. That brings to finality the questions. We will note that we've only been able to do, I think, 19 questions, and it took us 1 hour. And that is skipping all of these other questions from the honorable members. What I can commit, and please do remind me, I'm putting it in the house, that I will indeed start from the back with the respective MECs, their questions never being posed, that department, so that they also will then be given an opportunity, and we will be able to ensure that all MECs respond. We may not do it in one session, but I think noting also that all members have received the written replies. That's just to give an opportunity. I think it's the first time in 6 months that the MEC, that we got as far as the MEC of Human Settlement. Very, very long time has the MEC of Human Settlement responded to any question in the House for oral reply. Yes. So Thank you so much, honorable members, and to our guests. We do apologize. It's been quite a long session. It is now 4 minutes, and we will now move over to the tabling of the policy and budget speeches, and I will ask the secretary, therefore, to read for us the first order of the day.
Tabling of budget votes 3, health.
No, we will start with the tabling of budget vote number 10.
It's 10, transport.
Yes, I will call upon the MEC of Transport, MEC Ngata, to table the policy speech 2025-26 in terms of Rule 159, subsection 4. Your 30 minutes starts now. Thank you.
I'm sorry, comrades. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier, members of the Executive Council, and honorable members of the House, the head of the department, Mr. Andy Lefani, and senior management of our department, transport stakeholders, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. To follow your leader, Honorable Mvogo, let me say good afternoon to Mrs. Ngata in absentia. Inkokeli yalandelwa. The Eastern Cape Department of Transport and the entire collective of the executive, we are committed to creating a safe, reliable, and efficient transport system that supports economic growth, job creation, and social development. Despite facing numerous obstacles, the province has made significant progress in enhancing safety features in accessibility of the road network in the province. And indeed, we have turned the province into a construction site. The ANC-led government is committed to completing the remaining tasks given the challenges that we still have in terms of road infrastructure. And this has been underlined by the findings of the Human Rights Commission, which find that the conditions of our roads are violating human rights. And that they have made a finding that the province has only 10% of surface roads compared to the average compared to other provinces of 25%. And they've gone further to invite, to recommend to the national government to support the provincial government financially to address this imbalance. The provincial government, working together with our roads agency, Sandral, we are committed to reversing this situation and working towards the construction of the Eastern Cape. We have made significant investments in the road infrastructure, focusing on the rural roads, upgrading gravel roads to surface and alfast roads, and the province's new settlements, the stringing of fiscal pests and climate change-induced floods have been among many of our challenges. Beyond the challenges, the department, in a joint effort with the SANDF, the National Department of Public Works, and the Office of the Premier, we have progressed in the Welisizwe Bridges program and the construction of 19 bridges in the flood-prone regions, with 12 bridges already completed. The bridges created job opportunities of 760 individuals, bridging the gap between underserved and rural areas. A further 244 million has been invested in this crucial initiative, paving the way for the construction of an additional 17. We're the first one to admit, Honorable Speaker, that this process is very slow, and the Premier has already written to the President to seek for an alternative delivery mechanism, and I've done the same to write to the Minister of Public Works, and Honorable Lucity has tabled the matter in their own MINMEC because this impacts negatively in the pace of our performance in this area. The department will collaborate with the municipality in accordance with the Intergovernmental Relations Framework Act and the National Land Act. The consistent in-house and outsourced maintenance will be prioritized to increase road lifespan and provide a rideable provincial network. Despite challenges of the Middleburg integrated traffic control, will continue to accelerate and resolve whatever challenges we're facing. Kwiphondo liphela umsebenzi wokuphucula indlela zethu uyabonakala. We are glad to report the following progress on a multi-year project commissioned by SANRAL, an institution of the Department of Transport. The Bellstone interchange and the upgrade of roads linking Bisho and the N2, this project has been completed. The N2 Wild Coast Road Program, this is a 20 billion investment which encompasses Msikaba and Mtentu bridges. When completed, this will shorten the travel time between East London and Durban by almost half. The upgrade of R63 to N2 past Kumcha, connecting the province capital with the densely populated and largely rural eastern side of our province. That project is currently underway. The upgrading of the national route N2 between Makanda, formerly known Grahamstown, and Fish River Pass, the estimated completion is this August of this year. In this regard, the collaboration with municipalities through service level agreements and partnership will continue to be the fixture towards realization of the district delivery model, Plan 1. The following municipalities the department worked with until the end of the 6th term, and will continue working with more in the 7th term. Enoch Mkijima on the upgrade of Fikile Kwadana Drive, the project is completed. The design on the Ilinge Road are underway. Makana, the upgrade of Van Beren Ring Road is also completed, and rehabilitation of M Street and Albert Street is in progress. In Great Kai, the upgrading of the Nyaga village to Wagahaga and Kai Mouth to Kai River Mouth Road are currently in detailed design, and Mhlonhlo local municipality upgrade of Showbury Road, T167 is also in design, and Amahlati local municipality, the upgrade in Lungisi internal streets and Stadarem internal streets, the projects will start. The department has made available an amount of 308 million rand towards the maintenance of gravel roads across the province. A sum of 22 million has been set aside for the Nelson Mandela municipality towards the inner city road improvement, while the Buffalo City Metro is allocated 45 million for upgrade of Kwanera Road in East London. Another partnership, the department working with SANRAL and the private company, PG Bison, we are finalizing a memorandum of understanding for the repair of the Yugi Langen Road. And this is a long outstanding matter which has brought inconvenience both to the communities and to industry as well. And the department will invest an amount of 17 million towards the partnership. And this is a statement to what we want, what we can do rather when we work together with the private sector. The citizens of the Eastern Cape, 552 kilometers of rural roads are in line to be re-gravelled, and 23,000 kilometers of gravel roads to be bladed, and 62,000 square meters towards blacktop patching for the year 2025-2026 financial year. To augment an in-house capacity, the department has budgeted 454 million for outsourced re-gravelling and 198 for outsourced blading across the 6 districts of the province. During 2024-2025 financial year, the department made significant strides in improving transport infrastructure, particularly upgrading gravel roads to surface roads through in-house construction. In this regard, substantial progress was achieved on several key routes. And we also know that people have been complaining that our in-house is slow, but we have been able to complete R72 Hamburg Road, reaching, we are now at 98% completion. Tsilita to Kumbu, we're at 80%. Coffee Bay to Tulele, we're at 70%. Mhlaba to Asketin, we're at 70%. Tanzibe Hospital Road, we're at 86%. The department is preoccupied with the day-to-day transportation of the masses of our people, primarily looking at land-based transport, taking people from their homes to services and amenities back to their homes safely. This requires us as the department to keep cordial relations among various role players in the public transport space, be it taxi, bus operators, and everyone found in between, those who are in government-supported scholar transport program, and those in the fast-paced and highly competitive taxi industry, taxi rank operation space. The department continues to subsidize the bus operations to continue to ensure affordable and reliable transportation system in the province. To fulfill the public transport mandate, being the core business of the department, a subsidy amounting to 725 million was provided through Africa Best 350 and Algoa Bus and Maibuye Transport Corporation, benefiting nearly 10 million passengers across the province, mainly in rural areas. And in spite of the shortfall in terms of the shortfalls and shortcomings as it relates to scholar transport, it is well publicized and occasionally politicized challenges. The scholar transport's role and impact in the Eastern Cape is ever increasing metric pass rate, which peaked to 84.9% last year, are immeasurable. The province has been ordered by the court to provide scholar transport to all qualifying learners in the province. We regard this ruling as highly progressive, such that we have decided not to challenge the ruling. We're working hard to ensure that how do we meet implement the judgment. It is effectively asking us what we have always demanded of ourselves, to transport every learner who qualifies and is eligible for scholar transport in the province. The fiscal year 25-26, we are committed to improving the scholar transport system. The department has developed the learner transport management system to improve the efficacy of scholar transport. The Department of Education and the Department of Transport, we have also developed a close working relationship through the Provincial Joint Steering Committee, and efforts have been made to ensure that all eligible learners in the province are accommodated for the current financial year. This is primary reason we regard the court judgment as a progressive one. The road safety issues are among the indicators that our province and department are evaluated on, particularly during prime periods like the Easter weekend and festive season. I am disheartened to inform you, Honorable Speaker, that the Eastern Cape has experienced an increase in the road fatalities during the past festive season, largely because of the regression of human behavior. Ungakwazi ukuziphatha kwabantu, yona ngxaki eyenza ingozi apha kwiphondo lethu. And to counter this, 127 trainee traffic officers were recruited and trained after they graduated in December 2024, and 200 additional traffic officers will be trained between 2025-26 and 26-27 in partnership with the Road Traffic Management Corporation as the province drives towards implementing the 24/7 shifts, so that we ensure visibility of our law enforcement officers 24 hours. The Department of Transport has established a formal structure to engage all in rail stakeholders in the province. In relation to the branch line between Amabele and Mhlaba, it has been awarded to Speguza Rail for a period of 20 years. There's been problems, and the process towards finalization of the agreement has resulted in a delay and in inception of the train operations in this line. However, these have been finalized by December of 2024. Mhlaba Airport, a functional Category 5 airport, and Bishop Airport, a Category 2 airport with no commercial activity, are the two airports owned by the Eastern Cape government. And the department is currently investigating the possibility of establishing partnership to invest in the Bishop Airport. On this, we'll be going out to invite for the expression of interest for people to partner with us in ensuring that the airport is active. The department intends to invest in the upgrade of Mhlaba Airport from Category 5 to Category 6 airport to enhance a greater number of airlines and accommodate larger aircrafts. To achieve the Category 6 level, the department will construct a fire station in the airport current financial year 25-26 financial year through the implementing agent, that is through the Department of Public Works. And subsequently, the fuel farm will be operationalized and the recruitment of firefighters will be implemented. A service level agreement has been signed between Petro SA and our department. The Department of Public Works in the province, in the process of conveying the land on which the Bishop Airport is locating to the Department of Transport. The department is investigating public partnership that are interested to invest, as I've indicated above. The department is in the process of developing a maritime strategy which will be incorporated into the readily drafted inland water transport strategy, considering the recent developments such as Ocean's Economy, Operation Pakisa as an enabler to address the triple challenges of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. The department has entered into partnership with the agency, the South African Maritime Safety Authority, which is responsible for maritime safety and security, so that we can work together in this area. And the Department of Transport and the Department of Education with an MOU to provide maritime awareness in chosen schools in the province. And the programs are going on. I can also share with the House, Honorable Speaker, that only in this current year, as we start using our own centers to collect revenue, we have already collected a couple of millions. I won't disclose, Honorable Mvogo. These are some of the issues that we are initiating as part of contributing to the Provincial Revenue Fund, which must benefit the people of the province, which our department has been applauded more than once by PT for its performance in this regard. The department will embark on a process to develop a regulatory framework to deal with the encroachment with public road assets, formalization and regulation of the driving schools industry in the province, including the towing trucking service industry. The department has managed to increase 35,000 job opportunities, and there's been a reduction due to the budget cuts in terms of our work in this area. Honorable Chair, as I conclude, together let us build the transportation system that supports economic growth and promotes social equity and enhance the quality of life for all our citizens. And I hereby table all the operational plans for the department, the plans of the department, including for GFMS and Maibuye Transport Corporation. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. The policy speech and all the tabled documents stand referred to the Portfolio Committee responsible for the subject matter of the vote in terms of Rule 160, subsection 2. I will ask the Secretary to read the second order of the day.
Tabling of budget vote 15, community safety.
We are now calling the MEC responsible for the Department of Community Safety, MEC Ngata, to table the 2025-26 policy speech in terms of Rule 159, subsection 4. Your 30 minutes starts now, Honorable MEC.
Hey, Salon Protector, Speaker, please protect me to the honorable member here in front of me. Honorable Speaker, once again, greetings to you and to the honorable members. And greetings to the District Provincial Commissioner, Major General Wright, and the Acting HOD of Community Safety, Mrs. Libala, and other senior managers for community safety and staff that are here. The NPA director present here. The regional commissioner for correctional services, the regional manager of IPID, the chief of Nelson Mandela Metro Police, heads of department, members of the JCPS cluster, chairperson of Community Police Board, chairperson of Community Police Forums, special guests, government officials, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, the peace-loving citizens of the province, you all greeted once again. Madam Speaker, I rise before this august House to present the budget policy speech for the financial year 25-26 under Vote 15 pertaining to the Department of Community Safety. This year's budget policy speech is presented against the backdrop of increasing complex crime patterns that are steadily emerging and posing a threat to the stability of our province and the country at large. Madam Speaker, despite various prevention initiatives coordinated by the Justice and Crime Prevention Cluster, the Eastern Cape continue to face a complex array of safety challenges, including persistent high rates of violent crimes and stably elevated murder rates in Nelson Mandela Bay and widespread gender-based violence and the endemic of stock theft that are affecting many rural parts of our province. Let me add my voice, Honorable Speaker, to assure the public that the National Minister has appointed a general to head the investigation and follow up on the matter surrounding the alleged rape of Cwecwe, so that the perpetrators of Cwecwe are brought to book, which is an incident that stands condemned. In the response to the we will strengthen police oversight, Honorable Speaker, and accountability through station monitoring, the court watching brief program, and the DVA compliance evaluation to ensure professional and responsive policing services for our people in the Eastern Cape. We will enhance community participation by expanding and strengthening CPFs and CPFs implementing our Safety Ambassadors program, as well by revitalizing the village and streets committees under the mobilizing philosophy of Musa Ukuthula Kusonakala. This will drive an all-government and all of society movement against crime and social vulnerability. The third point, Honorable Speaker, we will coordinate an integrated criminal justice system approach through JCPS cluster, driven by the Provincial Safety Strategy and the Integrated Crime and Violence Prevention Strategy to ensure coordinated response to crime. We will strengthen evidence-based policy development through research on policing needs and emerging trends to ensure that our interventions effectively address the root causes of crime and vulnerability in our province, and ultimately working towards a safer Eastern Cape with active and cohesive communities. Honorable Speaker, as I present this policy speech, I do so with full awareness of the urgent need to turn the tide against the persistent high levels of crime that continue to plague our province. It is for this reason that I deliver this address under the theme, Musa Ukuthula Kusonakala. This theme serves as a powerful clarion call to all the people of the Eastern Cape to rise and take a firm stand against crime. It is grounded in our unwavering belief that only through unity and collective action can we make a meaningful impact in eradicating crime and confronting the broader social ills that threaten the well-being of our communities. Madam Speaker, Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso suggests, I quote, "Our traditional systems of community protection, conflict resolution must be integrated into our modern security approach. Our ancestors knew how to maintain peace in our communities," close quote. The arena of community safety is a complex one, as I've indicated before, and a fluid and a dynamic environment. And several factors which contribute to safety or lack thereof are largely outside the control of the department and outside the control of government. Madam Speaker, over the past year, we have undertaken a focused and strategic effort to capacitate and ensure that the sustained effectiveness of our established community structures. Community police forums at the police station level have been strengthened to foster closer cooperation and improve relations between SAPs, and the communities they serve. In the same vein, community forums at municipal level have been empowered to enhance the coordination and implementation of safety programs across localities. Furthermore, I am pleased to report that all district CPFs have been resourced and capacitated by SAPs through the allocation of vehicles and the provisioning of promotional material. These efforts reflect our unwavering commitment to building a safer, more resilient communities through active partnership and collaboration. Madam Speaker, through a valuable partnership with SASITA, 150 members from community police forum structures across the 5 districts, namely Amatole, Krisani, Joe Gabi, OR Tambo, and Nelson Mandela Bay, have successfully completed accredited training in community policing. This marked a significant milestone in our efforts to professionalize and strengthen community-based safety initiatives. To further strengthen community involvement in building safer neighborhood, we have continued with the implementation of our community safety patrol program. We committed to expand this program to cover Buffalo City Metro despite limited funding. We have achieved this by deploying 100 community safety ambassadors to the BCM area. The collaboration between ambassadors and the police is commendable as they serve as the eyes and ears of law enforcement within the community. Their efforts have strengthened the ties between the community members and the police and contributing to greater stability. As we have witnessed some of the positive shifts in crime patterns where ambassadors are deployed, it is our intention to further expand this program to more areas. Our main challenge currently is funding for the project. However, we're engaging various stakeholders to explore possible partnerships. We shall also fast-track the process of policy development to ensure proper regulation of the ambassadors. Crime and violence prevention require comprehensive integrated responses by the department, acting together with other departments in the provincial government, with local government and social partners, as well as coordinated action of all law enforcement agencies. And to realize the above, Madam Speaker, the Minister of Police launched the Agreement of Cooperation by Law Enforcement Officers in Nelson Mandela Bay Metro in September 2024. Through this agreement, an integrated approach that includes SAPs, Metro Police, Provincial Traffic, private security, conducting and collaborating on a joint operation and utilization of resources has been realized. And, Honourable Speaker, the Q3 crime statistics have confirmed the good work of this cooperation, as Nelson Mandela Bay Metro managed to reduce 14 of the 17 community most reported crimes, which translates to 13.5% decrease. Despite the murder rate remaining stubborn in the metro, the stats have presented a 19.8% reduction in the trial crimes and 19.3% reduction in car hijacking. The implementation of this collaboration, therefore, will be extended to all the municipalities in the province, OR Tambo Buffalo City Metro being targeted for the implementation for this current financial year. And as we continue to intensify our oversight on SAPs and Police Metro, the department is responsible for the oversight of the police, and the province is in line with the Constitution, is exercising this mandate. We monitor performance of the police in relation to compliance with relevant legislation, efficiencies, effectiveness of service delivery to communities, and ability to respond to service delivery complaints against members. One of the innovations introduced a few years ago is the Court Watching Brief program. In the past year, Honorable Speaker, this program resulted in 55 cases being brought back to the court roll and some serious convictions being secured. In those cases, with some notable achievements being where we've secured 21 years of sentence in 3 cases, accused being sentenced to 21 years in each, others in 7 cases, 21 years each, and others getting 5 years, between 5 years and 8 years of sentence. cases that have been taken off the roll, we re-enrolled them successfully and we have secured those convictions as a result of that intervention. Having observed the success of the program in the GBV cases, Madam Speaker, we have resolved to expand it to also cover stock theft cases that may have been struck off the roll due to police inefficiencies. Due to the high rate of murders relating to stock theft in Mhlaba policing area, we've prioritized to start with that area as our initial phase and then expand it to other districts. The research Madam Speaker, the research plays then in our work a vital role in strengthening the department's capacity to advise the provincial executive on evolving policing needs and priorities, and particularly as we confront the poly crisis affecting our province. For the year ahead, our research agenda will focus on evaluating the implementation of our provincial strategy and also assessing the challenges associated with community safety structures, exploring community perceptions of policing performance. Honorable Speaker, it is important to note that our provincial commissioner, Lieutenant General Mene, she has retired, and the recruitment process of a new provincial commissioner is underway. And to ensure stability and continuity, Major General Dladla, who is the Deputy Provincial Commissioner for Detective Services, is currently the acting provincial commissioner. He is now attending the National Crime Summit, which is underway, started from yesterday. Honorable Speaker, despite the complexity of crime in the province, we have a committed police service that continues to strive to rise above these circumstances. The crime trends from the past 3 quarters, 2024-2025 financial year, suggest that there is a steady decline in the most serious crimes affecting the Eastern Cape. During this period, the province recorded 5.6 decrease in the 17 community-reported crimes, with decreases in 12 of the 17 reported crimes. And the key crime decreases were seen in murder, 3.9%, and robbery, 7.2%, among others. And as we always say, that these increases will not be sufficient until they are felt by the people that crime, and they feel more safe in their own homes and in their own communities. The police continue to make breakthrough in murder cases, including arrest of the Lusiki mass murder, who was going through the court they are going through the court process, and the efforts to tackle serious and violent crimes are gaining momentum in the province. Honorable Speaker, since the establishment of the Organized Crime Task Team and the Extortion Hotline, there are some inroads being made in relation to investigation of some cases reported through the hotline, with total of 60 breakthroughs made in 41 cases reported. And SAPS is fully committed to improving the crime situation in the province. And as such, more additional numbers will be added of 1,160 new constables will be under the workplace exposure as part of the national project 10,000. So additionally, a total of 503 members will be allocated to specialized units, and this will give us a total of 1,663 members that will be allocated to the province. On gender-based violence, eliminating, Honorable Speaker, gender-based violence and femicide, Honorable Speaker, is one of the key priorities of our government. Through effective coordination with relevant stakeholders, as a department, we have also put this at the apex of our priorities. During the 3rd quarter of 2024-2025, we saw a decrease of 7% in reported rape cases through the good collaboration between the Family Violence and Child Protection and Sexual Offences Unit of SAPS and the Sexual Offences and Community Affairs Unit of the NPA, working collaboratively. Honorable Speaker, much of the Department of Community Safety's work is done in partnership with other provincial departments, and that is why we have a functioning JCPS cluster to facilitate and coordinate collaboration to ensure effectiveness of the criminal justice system. It has come to our attention, Honorable Speaker, that some of the most violent and serious crimes in the province are orchestrated from the correctional facilities. And working with the Department of Correctional Services, the police are conducting similar operations in prisons, which has resulted in the discovery and confiscation of several contrabands. The police are working to link these contrabands, mainly cell phones, in criminal activities happening outside the prison but planned inside the prison. Additionally, the Department of Correctional Services is utilizing cell phone detection devices with the aim to eradicate cell phone ownership by detainees. We'll continue with the JCPS cluster operations, thank you. And I would like to acknowledge the cooperation and support of all the heads of the department within the justice cluster. I trust that in the coming year, they will continue to demonstrate the same commitment and dedication towards building a safer Eastern Cape. The issue of monitoring border management, we have hosted the Cross-Border Crime Summit in Matatiele where several important resolutions were taken. As a result, the Border Management Task Team has been established and coordinated by the department with the participation of SAPS, SNADF as part of that, and the local municipalities and traditional leadership are a part of it, working on this project. As we begin the new year term, Madam Speaker, the task team will strengthen and formalize the joint operational plans to ensure full support on the implementation from both countries, that is our country and Lesotho. The communication system at police stations, municipalities, provincial level will be revived and strengthened for efficient coordination between our countries. As the Department of Community Safety, we begin the 7th term of administration with a renewed vigor and commitment to build safer communities. To bear testament to this, our vision and mission has been revised to better reflect our desired end state of communities communities that feel safe. We have also appointed a new head of department. He will resume his duties by the 1st of May 2025. For the year 2025-26 financial year, the department has introduced a provision of external bursaries for deserving students that have passed matric for this for the next 5 years. 5 years. I have been awarded. For the next year, 5 have been awarded. Pardon me, for their studies. Additionally, SASITA has granted the department a discretionary grant to the value of 1 million to provide bursaries to students that are registered in tertiary institutions and do not have sources of funding. And with this funding, we are hoping to assist at least 20 students in this regard. Honorable Speaker, let me conclude by saying it is fitting to reflect on the words, as I conclude, of the former President Nelson Mandela. I quote, "Safety and security do not just happen, they are the results of the collective consensus and public investment. We owe our children, the most vulnerable citizens in our country, a life free of violence and fear," close quote. For the department to navigate and realize its efforts towards safe and secure and violent-free Eastern Cape, effective and consistent community participation is essential, so that the fight is a fight of the whole of society and the whole of government. Emphasizing the philosophy of Musa ukuthula kusonakala. Let the communities rise, speak out against crime, violence, because we are stronger together. Honorable Speaker, in accordance with the rules of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature, on behalf of the Department of Community Safety, I hereby table the 2025-26 budget policy speech, the strategic plan, the annual performance plan, the annual operational plan of the department before this August House. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, let us remain steadfast in our collective commitment to build safer communities across all our province, and together we can and we must make a difference. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The documents are tabled.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. The policy speech and all the table documents stands referred to the portfolio committee responsible for the subject matter of the vote in terms of Rule 160, subsection 2. I will now ask the Secretary to read the third order of the day.
Tabling of budget votes, 3 health.
I will now call upon the member of the Executive Council responsible for Department of Health to present her 2025-2026 policy speech in terms of Rule 159, subsection 4. Honorable MEC, you have 30 minutes and your 30 minutes starts now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Greetings to you, greetings to the Madam Speaker in absentia, Honorable Premier, the Leader of Government Business, Honorable Mfogo, members of the Executive Council, Honorable Chair of Chairs and Deputy Chair of Chairs, Chief Whip and Deputy Chief Whip, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Honorable Vimbayo, Honorable members of the Eastern Cape Legislature, Director General of the province and heads of department, distinguished guests, organized labor, ndiyabulisa kuni nonke ngale njikalanga. I am deeply honored and encouraged to stand in front of the August House to present the first policy speech, budget speech of the Department of Health in the 7th administration. It has been more than 30 years of a journey that started to build a united, non-racial, non-sexist and a democratic and a prosperous society which guarantees a better life for all. We draw our aspirations from the Freedom Charter and our mandates from the National Health Act, the act which intends to a framework for structurally uniform health system with the Republic, considering the obligation imposed by the Constitution and other laws. Since the advent of democracy, the government has been resolute and steadfast in correcting the injustice of the past and bringing a better life for all. Deputy Speaker and honorable members, when presenting this policy and budget speech, I will highlight the achievement and progress of the department emanating from the 2024-2025 policy speech, and I will also emphasize focus areas and priorities in 2025-2026 year ahead to address our 3 mandates of providing health services, the academic responsibilities related to teaching, training and research, and our contributions to the development agenda of our government. Asikwazi ke kodwa ukuthula xa abantu abangomama kuthe gqolo babulawe baphathwe gadalala kweliphondo. As the department and the government of the people, we implore men and society and the society at large to desist from acts of violence and brutality against women. The recent attacks and murders of gender activist Ms. Babin in Gqeberha and other 3 young women in OR Tambo, Ntombekaya Galo, Usmanye Zindlovu, and a nurse in the department, a professional nurse, Unesetu Gauzela, who was at the cusp of embarking on her career. These murders are despicable and deplorable. The recent outcry in the support for young Cwecwe, Alu and Boy demonstrate that our communities will not tolerate these acts of violence. As a department, we will continue to play our part and advocate for staffing and resourcing of the Tutuzela centers, since they are housed in our facilities. And also make sure that once victims are attended in our facilities, we'll make sure that they are not only reported to SAPS, but in all other relevant departments. We call for justice for all GBV victims and survivors. Deputy Speaker, we are reeling from a recent passing of Prof. Mashiyi, our head of clinical unit in nephrology at Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital in Umtata. He was an esteemed and a dedicated physician, a respected leader, and a compassionate mentor. Prof. Mashiyi was known for his unwavering commitment to advancing medical knowledge and improving patient outcomes. He was able to balance between public and private service, a rare skill within the medical sector. His expertise and passion for teaching inspired many young professionals in the field. He contributed significantly to his province and South Africa through his drive to provide access and special care for the marginalized and destitute. In honor of Prof. Mkhuseli Mashiyi, the department is planning to name the Mthatha Regional Hospital after this distinguished health professional who has done so much for his community. The department, thank you so much. The department will ensure that it consults widely with all the relevant stakeholders. Honorable members, when we tabled the 2024-25 departmental plans in this house, we said we care Katala. In the year under review, we have made some great strides to display that we are a caring department and committed in serving our people, despite our highly constrained fiscal space. We are humbled by many compliments reported about the excellent service provided by our employees. At the same time, we commit to address all shortcomings we receive from our patients, their families, and the public. One recipient who received an excellent service at UPH in Gqeberha said, "I lodged a complaint with the hospital administration, and I am thrilled to report that the CEO responded promptly, professionally, and with a clear commitment to resolve the issue." Close quote. Again, Mr. Petros Majola recently wrote to the acting CEO of Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital, expressing a gratitude about the positive interaction with Dr. Mhlaba, who is the acting clinical director. He described Dr. Mhlaba as the gentleman who gives hope and is well representing the public health system, a man who is always fresh even at midnight, with a warm heart and a willingness to offer a helping hand. And lastly, on our Facebook page, we receive another compliment in Umtata from Ulubabalo Ngukana with a hashtag Happy Patient Feedback, who was pleased about the assessment test done and the quality treatment he received. He also wished that everyone can get the same standard of service that he received. In 2025-26 financial year, the department commits to the Batupili principle, Abantu Kuqala. This principle directs the healthcare providers should engage with patients, listening to their needs and preferences and involving them in decision-making regarding their care. Deputy Speaker, we have established mechanisms to address complaints and resolve issues and ensuring that patients receive a fair and a timely response. In the year ahead, we will strive to improve our responsiveness to the needs of the communities we serve across the board. We'll relaunch the complaints management system to raise awareness on how to lodge concerns and obtain responses and at the point where problems arise. These efforts are in support of the commitment made by the President to improve staff attitudes, long patient queues, and customer care. Honorable members, in the month of February 2025, the province experienced incidents of hand, foot, and mouth disease in Buffalo City Metro Municipality, subsequently to Saraman District. The department deployed the outbreak responses team to investigate and visit educational facilities in East London, Kocha, and Makanda, and a total of 78 cases were found, but we can confirm that those kids have since recovered and there were no fatalities. Honorable members, to improve population health outcomes and address health disparities, effective leadership is crucial in the public health, and it drives policy development. Resource allocation and utilization, performance accountability, and stakeholder engagement. In the year under review, the department had critical leadership vacancies like chief executive officers of regional specialist tertiary hospitals and chief financial officer and director at district offices. I am pleased to inform the House that the following chief executive positions have been filled at Doranginza, Nase Joseph Pearson. The recruitment for the CEO position of Frontier Hospital has been initiated and will be concluded by the end of May 2025. I must also report that the position for CEO of the two tertiary hospitals, Ifre and Livingston, have been re-advertised to ensure a pool of suitable candidates. In the year ahead, we will address the administrative issues relating to the CO positions at St. Elizabeth and Empilweni hospitals as we shift our focus to the next level of hospital COs positions, and will continue to fill them within the available budget, like the one at Matwaleni and Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital. Deputy Speaker, the honorable members, the department has initiated the recruitment and selection process of the departmental chief financial officer position, and it will be concluded before the end of April 2025. With shortlisting interviews and assessment has been done. We are just waiting for the results, and then we'll quickly appoint the chief financial officer of the department. Deputy Speaker, the department and the sector face severe financial constraints this past year, with budget cuts, historical debt placing pressure on the ability to employ much needed human resource and pay suppliers within 30 days. The department continues to operate within a fragile financial space and experiences intractable services pressure daily. This is in the face of increased demand for care as we recover from COVID-19 and undergo the epidemiology and demographic transition. The accruals and payables are an albatross on the neck of the department, making it extremely difficult to manage the day-to-day operation with service providers threatening to withdraw their services for delayed payments. Notwithstanding the gloomy financial picture above, the department has been putting measures in place to address the factors that have resulted in the tight financial position, which threatens the delivery of quality health care. That is why Honorable Chocho sisithi makungabhatalelwa abantu abangafanelanga ukubhatalelwa i-accommodation, because we need that money to employ healthcare workers. Financial stability with respect to the debt and cost of employees pressure require a hard decision in the 2024-2025 financial year. We managed to flatten the debt curve and significantly reduce the projected cost of employees over expenditure, but it came with a heavy price because we had a net loss of staff members. Honorable members, I would like to commend our staff who continue to provide the best possible care despite being short-staffed. This will become better in the year, a year ahead, as we adjust our annual recruitment plan to accommodate the additional budget for employing critical staff recently as announced by Honorable MC for Provincial Treasury in the budget speech of March 2025. In the last policy speech, the department committed to this Honourable House that it will pay special attention and address the committed overtime matter raised by the Auditor General. We agreed that committed overtime must be reassessed, be implemented according to the prescribed policy, and be paid to deserving medical officers. Deputy Speaker, we have already gained allocative efficiencies and measurable savings of around 49 million. This is because we have begun rostering doctors according to the service type and the demand for service. All doctors have been going through contracting process for the new financial year according to the service needs and ensuring value for money. Achieving the unqualified audit opinion for 2025-26 is of paramount importance, as it will demonstrate that there are adequate controls in place to minimize the risk of any leakages. In the year ahead, we are building on the improvements of the 2023-2024 audit in pursuit of the unqualified opinion. The department has implemented audit improvement plan strategy in the year under review. A lot of effort has gone to ensuring we have credible contingent liability statement. We have already submitted our statement of the opening balance already. Honorable members, the settlement of medical legal claims in prior years and significant contingent liabilities associated with the medical legal claims impact the state ability to provide quality services and threatens the financial liquidity of the department. We are pleased that the integrated medical legal strategy is yielding measurable benefits in that a number of new claims and the lump sum settlement have decreased significantly since the inception of the strategy. We want to say thank you to Treasury as well as the Office of the Premier for the assistance. We also want to acknowledge the Provincial Treasurer, SIU, who have assisted us with forensic investigation into medical legal claims against our department. As a result, we have handed over cases to the Hawks and NPA for prosecution. We have also able to hand over 25 firms to the Legal Practice Council for consideration of disciplinary action for trust fund irregularities. I am convinced that our collective efforts as a department and the Eastern Cape government as a whole will continue to yield positive results. The department is committed to establish 11 centers of excellence that treat clients diagnosed with cerebral palsy. This intervention will mitigate the outflow of large sums of money previously paid for future medical care to our cerebral palsy litigants. We have started with these infrastructure changes, one site per region so far, that is St. Henry Elliot in OR Tambo, Cecilia Makiwane, Nedoranginza Hospital. We are also strengthening our capacity to provide general and orthopedic surgeries at identified hub hospital closer to where people live and work, increasing the access of our access in our most rural facilities. Honorable members, the historical structure of inequality that disadvantages the poor and rural vulnerable communities is being eliminated through coherent and effective department strategy to improve access to the specialist services. We can confirm today that the decentralization of clinical specialist services is being implemented. Medical specialist service have been extended to Alfredo, Joe Gabi, Sarah Batman, expanding the benefit of accessible special services. Patients are spared the long pilgrimages to central urban areas like Gqeberha, Buffalo City, and Umtata. The establishment of renal unit at Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital by the recently departed esteemed Professor Mashi was an answer to a cry by our people needing a kidney treatment. Professor Mashi ensured that black people on the eastern side of the province who prior 1994 were denied renal treatment received treatment at our Nelson Mandela Academic Central Hospital. The department is now commissioning the first ever renal dialysis service based in a public hospital in the far eastern region, at St. Elizabeth Hospital. This unit will be launched at the end of April, thanks to the efforts and the determination of the late Prof. Mashia. He was also on the verge of establishing a renal unit in Frontier Hospital in Komani, and as a department will continue to make sure that project is completed. The people of the Eastern Cape, thank you. The people of the Eastern Cape will always be indebted to Prof. Mashia for his dedication to the health service of and its people. Isara Batman will, in this financial year, also receive renal dialysis services. Machines have already been bought. We'll begin to install them so that we can start providing that service. Expansion of renal services are as a result of a diligent great work undertaken by the late Prof. Mashia, as well as Dr. Rob Fricks, who is in Livingston. Under this administration, these programs will grow and be enhanced through stronger partnerships with both medical schools of Walter Sisulu and Nelson Mandela universities. And all of those deans are part of the guests today. Professor Trita is part of us up there at the gallery. Honorable members, the department is seized with addressing the bottlenecks that led to the backlog and the long waiting times for the operative patients at Bedford Hospital. The energy challenges facing the country and the Umtata area has resulted into a long waiting times for patients who need surgery to alleviate suffering and pains. We have put the following measures in place. We have replaced the old generator. We've commissioned 2 extra theaters. We've also procured water tanks. These interventions have increased the availability time for orthopedic cases in theater and eliminated the risk of cancellation of procedures. The department is closely monitoring the situation and will ensure that our people receive effective and efficient health care. In this year, we will decentralize minor orthopedic surgeries to St. Elizabeth and Oliver and Adelaide Tambo regional hospitals. They will further assist addressing the backlog and mitigating any future congestion at Bedford Hospital. So we are hoping that when we do that, we will try and ease the pressure in the Bedford Hospital. A host of other special services like orthopedics, maternal and child general surgery, dermatology, internal medicine and are being introduced to various facilities like Matsigane Zulu, Taylor Bequest, All Saints, Butterworth, Arwell North, Andros Foslo hospitals, to mention the few. Madam Speaker, the electric patient records are crucial for the improving healthcare quality and efficiency by centralizing patient data and enhancing access for healthcare providers and reducing errors, ultimately leading to a better patient outcomes and streamlined operations. A total of 773 facilities have been earmarked for the broadband connectivity by the Office of the Premier. These include those hospitals that experience a significant number of medical litigations. To date, 477 healthcare facilities, which represent approximately 62% of identified facilities, have been successfully provided with broadband connectivity. In the 2025 financial year, 29 million has been set aside for the local area network infrastructure, specifically for broadband utilization. The department plans to connect 50 primary healthcare clinics and 10 hospitals into the broadband network. 8 additional facilities are going to be receiving phase 1 of the HMS2, and then 10 facilities are going to be receiving digitalization rooms to scan hard copy patient folders. Honorable members, the implementation of the National Health Insurance is the culmination and the realization of the vision of aspiration of the Freedom Charter, which was adopted 70 years ago. The Freedom Charter states that free medical care and hospitalization shall be provided for all, with special care to mothers and young children. This government has made great progress in preparing facilities. Our clinics and hospitals do meet standards by the Office of the Health Standard Compliance. Honorable members, the department has started piloting contracting unit for primary health care in Ingquza in OR Tambo. This project tests the financing mechanisms for the NHI with respect to the contracting and of-service providers. It's only happening in one sub-region in the province, which is Ingquza. The department is implementing the ward-based community outreach teams programs in our bid to strengthen preventative care. These teams are tracking and tracing clients that interrupt treatment, detect malnourished, screening visit and conduct household interventions. This enables the government to be in touch with its people and bringing service closer to them. We have provided services in 39 identified poorest wards in the province. The number of households visited is 1,126,012, and we will continue to visit these households in the year ahead. We will expand our outreach programs where we take multidisciplinary teams into the hardest to reach communities to provide comprehensive healthcare services on site. We will ensure that 2 campaigns per district are undertaken in the 2025-2026 over and above the routine ward-based community outreach services that we render. Honorable members, in the healthcare, traditional leadership play a crucial role in promoting community engagement, facilitating access to services, and influencing health behaviors by elevating their culture, influencing the trust within the communities. We welcome and encourage the expansion of these programs through partnerships with our traditional leaders, local councillors, and community-based organizations in the year ahead. In the words of former President Thabo Mbeki, I've open quote, we want to make medicine and drugs available as affordable as possible to what is largely a poor population, close quote. The Central Chronic Medicine Dispensation and Distribution Intervention has enrolled 444,772 clients. This intervention strengthens compliance and improves access of life-saving medicines to our clients. At the same time, the intervention helps to decongest our health facilities. Abanye abantu ngamaxesha baye bakhalaza bathi kugcwele ezibhedlele eziclinic only to find babazothatha amayeza. So that is why we encourage our communities to register on this system so that we bring their medicine closer to them. We want to acknowledge the partnership that we have with Unkosu Ujoyi, the recently launched point kucentane phansi kukaNkosi uTyali. Abantu amayeza bawafumana kufuphi bengakhanga hambanga migama emide imngakanani, Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs. The department has implemented a health patient registration system, and 6 million citizens have been registered on this system. Honorable members, South Africa quality health care is crucial for the achieving desired health outcomes and ensuring universal health coverage. The Eastern Cape has committed in the Provincial Development Plan 2030 that we shall increase.
You're left with 5 minutes, Honorable MEC.
Ha.
Thank you.
Hayi ngitsotsiwe. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the department is launching a sexual productive health innovative interventions are critical in improving lives of the people. And the department is launching a first of its kind in vitro fertilization. So sitakho mntu ngazibana ndlalifa kho mntu ngazuteketisa. Uba unengxaki amehlo wakho waphosele kwisebe lezempilo wofumana khona uncedo. Honorable Deputy Speaker, mental health is one of the challenges that we face as a department. It is imperative that we adopt a holistic approach in healthcare integration. Honorable members, it is ordinarily very difficult to attract psychiatrists in the public sector in South Africa, and we are pleased to announce that we have employed 5 psychiatrists in Fort England at Ekomani, and plus 5 specialized professional nurses. When we're dealing with issue of emergency services, we know the challenge of ambulances in the province, and in this financial year, we are saying we are going to employ about 300 staff members in the category of emergency caregivers, because the challenge, even if we can have enough ambulances, but we do not have the adequate staff. We have set aside the 216 million for that. And again, we are going to add in our fleet 95 emergency vehicles. In terms of infrastructure, Deputy Speaker, I've provided you with a booklet with all our projects, but we can say that the Khebe Clinic and the well-known Greenville Hospital will be handing over. Bazawuthi xa bebuya nje ePasikeni sibe sithi nca kubo onokontraka. Amatole district, we are constructing in Buffalo a clinic. We are also making sure that where we are unable to construct clinics for now, we are putting temporary structures, and the Dalasile clinic will be part of those clinics that we will be putting temporary structures. And again, we have received 10 million from the application that we made for a disaster. We applied for 120 million, but for now we have received 10 million, and Itanzibe Clinic, Itanzibe Hospital will be part of those hospitals that will be receiving minor renovations. In terms of medical technology, we've set aside 13 million for orthopedic services, 3.6 million for digitalization equipment, 49 million for radiography, 14 million for will be spent on programs, 50 million for maintenance of our health technology. Honorable Speaker, the 5 minutes we want to acknowledge we understand that the community participation is fundamental to the design and delivery of public service. We engage our stakeholders to promote transparency. I am also grateful to the commitment and cooperation we receive from our social partners. That is Udinose, Hospesa, Nihau, all their chairpersons and secretaries are part of us today at the gallery. We really appreciate the cooperation that we have as the department together with them. We're sincerely grateful to the department partners that are continuing to help us to make sure that we provide our services. Honorable members, we are highly appreciated of the oversight role played by the legislature. Honorable Speaker, I would like to present and table for the consideration and approval of this August House, the Eastern Cape Department of Health Budget and Policy, Strategic Plan, Annual Performance Plan, Operational Plan, and Service Delivery Improvement Plan for the 2025-2026 financial year. Diabulela, enkosi kakhulu.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. The policy speech and all the table documents stands referred to the portfolio committee responsible for the subject matter of the vote in terms of Rule 160, subsection 2. Thank you. I'll now ask the secretary to read the fourth order of the day.
Tabling of budget vote number 12, Provincial Treasury.
Thank you very much. I will now invite the member of the Executive Council responsible for the Department of Finance and Provincial Expenditure to present his 2025-2026 policy speech in terms of Rule 159, subsection 4. You have 10 minutes, Honorable MEC. You're sorry, 30 minutes. Sorry. You have 30 minutes, Honorable MEC. And your 30 minutes starts now.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Well, I thought I only got the pressure from those sitting behind me telling me it's 5 minutes. I didn't know they coerced you into this 5 minutes. However, I'm going to disappoint you. I will speak until you say the 30 minutes is up. Honorable Deputy Speaker, members of the Executive Council, honorable members of the Provincial Legislature, HODs, distinguished guests, good day. Honorable Deputy Speaker, as the dawn breaks over the vast horizons of our province, we are reminded that a new day always brings renewed hope and boundless possibilities. The Eastern Cape, much like the rising sun, stands on the cusp of transformation despite the turbulence that surrounds us. The road ahead is not without its challenges, but as the sun persists beyond the night, so too shall we rise above economic uncertainty, global instability, and local fiscal pressures. I stand before this august House to table the 2025-30 strategic plan and the 2025-26 performance plan of the Eastern Cape Provincial Treasury. These instruments will shape the economic and financial trajectory of our province during the 7th term of administration. Honorable members, the economic landscape remains fragile, shaped by persistent geopolitical and regional tensions that continue to impact our national and provincial economy. The Russia-Ukraine war, the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict, and the shifting policies of global superpowers, including the US, have influenced trade, supply chains, and financial markets, creating challenges for our fiscus. Now, this is further exacerbated by the withdrawal of the US aid funding. Also, our country is not immune from the detrimental consequences of the regional conflicts in the Eastern DRC and in Mozambique. These challenges continue to have a negative impact on our economy that is deeply affected by poverty, unemployment, and inequality. Now, despite these obstacles, we remain resolute in strengthening our economy through multilateralism, partnerships, and collaborations with other global, continental, and regional participants. South Africa's current chairpersonship of the G20 provides an invaluable opportunity to reposition our economy and strengthen global cooperation. Through this leadership role, Africa has gained a greater voice in global economic forums, allowing us to advocate for sustainable investment, fairer trade policies, and infrastructure development that directly benefits Africa, South Africa, and the Eastern Cape Province. Honorable Deputy Speaker, we chart our course forward. It is crucial to reflect on the significant milestones achieved over the 6th term of administration. Despite economic constraints, the Provincial Treasury has successfully strengthened fiscal sustainability, improved financial governance, enhanced infrastructure delivery, and supported municipalities to ensure sound financial and resource management. Now, our strict cost containment measures and revenue enhancement strategies have led to a consistent overachievement in provincial revenue collection, with the province exceeding its annual target since 2020. These efforts have maintained liquidity in the provincial revenue fund, ensuring a stable financial footing for government operations. Through proactive budget monitoring and the enforcement of expenditure ceilings, we have continued to protect key service delivery priorities while reducing non-essential spending. The wage bill containment strategy has successfully optimized personnel costs by centralizing personnel authorization for high-risk departments, leading to an improvement in the COE ratio. Now, municipal financial governance has remained a priority with targeted interventions in distressed municipalities such as Amatole, Makana, Wartambo, and Enoch Mkijima. In terms of infrastructure investment, the infrastructure strategy has been instrumental in driving integrated planning and delivery across departments and municipalities. The IDMS has improved transparency and efficiency in project execution, ensuring greater accountability in infrastructure spending. Technology and data intelligence have also played a pivotal role in modernizing financial governance. Now, the rollout of the business intelligence system across department has enhanced real-time expenditure tracking, improved budget oversight, and reduced inefficiencies. These achievements reflect our unwavering commitment to building a capable, ethical, and developmental state. Furthermore, the Eastern Cape Provincial Treasury will continue to play its oversight role on the 9 priority integration areas. These integration areas focus on governance, service delivery, infrastructure, financial management, systemic challenges, and supporting local government, health and education turnaround strategies, as well as the youth development and provincial strategic priorities. Honourable members, the Government of National Unity has set forth 3 overarching priorities for the 7th term: economic growth and job creation, reducing poverty and tackling the high cost of living, building a capable, ethical developmental state. Honourable Deputy Speaker, over the past 5 years, we have ensured that expenditure compliance remained at an average of 98%, demonstrating our fiscal prudence and disciplined financial management are yielding positive results. We've maintained a positive balance in the provincial revenue fund, preventing departmental overdrafts and ensuring liquidity stability. Since 2020, we've consistently exceeded our own revenue targets. Provincial Treasury continues to support departments with revenue collection mandate and has played a pivotal role with the establishment of an intergovernmental work group with a focused approach to assess the needs and strengthen revenue collection at the major revenue departments. This support includes developing revenue implementation plan in a program and project management approach with the revision of revenue plans in the short term, over the medium term, and in long term. Through the support of the revenue enhancing strategy, through the support, the revenue enhancing strategy is receiving from the PPSU at the OTP. We remain hopeful that we shall achieve our potential. Honourable Speaker, our procurement transformation agenda has also gained momentum. The LEDPF has ensured that over 59.55% of procurement spending has benefited Eastern Cape-based business in the current financial year. We've also strengthened supplier database registration with over 55,000 micro, small, and medium enterprises now registered, enhancing their access to government contracts. The enforcement of the 30-day payment rule has yielded positive results with 12 departments complying with payments of service providers within stipulated time frames. We believe that our intervention for fiscal and liquidity stability at the Department of Health will lead to having all departments being able to pay suppliers within 30 days. During the 2024-25 financial year, A budget allocation of 1.4 million rand enabled the training of 254 officials. Of these, 65 officials were capacitated on bid compilation, evaluation, adjudication, whilst 189 officials received training in key areas such as demand management, contract management, asset management, and strategic outsourcing. Provincial Treasury will continue to support the Department of Health and the Department of Education in streamlining their SCM processes to achieve value for money through the implementation of strategic sourcing techniques. Honorable Deputy Speaker, despite economic constraints, the province has invested billions of rands towards critical infrastructure department. As such, 17 municipalities have improved their infrastructure spending, which has enhanced access to basic services. We have resurfaced 900 kilometers of provincial roads, directly address backlogs and improve mobility. The review of the implementation of the planned public infrastructure spending in the Eastern Cape over the past 5 years has revealed that the infrastructure expenditure trends reflected improvements reaching more than 90% of the allocation. In the 2024-25 financial year, significant progress was made in supporting municipalities to spend their conditional infrastructure grants, ensuring provision of basic services, addressing critical backlogs in key areas such as electricity, roads, water, and sanitation. Targeted funding was allocated to municipalities affected by disasters, facilitating their recovery and rebuilding efforts. The 2 metropolitan municipalities also received substantial support to enhance infrastructure support. On provincial and municipal governance accountability, the provincial and municipal governance accountability remains a central pillar to our mandate. Our interventions have placed the Eastern Cape in the first place nationally in the MFMA. This reflects our commitment to improving municipal financial governance. And over the past 5 years, 14 provincial departments, 36 have shown improvement. Within the next 5 years, and through our oversight role, will assist departments, public entities, and municipalities to improve audit outcomes. We'll continue to provide technical support to municipalities on the annual financial statements preparation, reducing reliance on external consultants. This will result in 30% reduction of adverse audited findings and improve service delivery. The implementation of the monitoring of the risk-adjusted strategy for conditional grants in collaboration with COGTA have significantly improved the utilization of municipal allocations. As part of our ongoing efforts to modernize financial management, we have made significant strides in leveraging technology and data intelligence. Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, the time for soft landings for officials and suppliers accused of unlawful conduct involving public funds is coming to a close. The net is tightening for those officials who have done business with the state and suppliers. The Provincial Treasury, in conjunction with the Public Service Commission and the Office of the Premier, are actively engaged in adding all suppliers found guilty of these crimes to the list of restricted suppliers at National Treasury and opening criminal cases against officials who have done business with the state. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the road ahead may have its uncertainties, but our resolve remains steadfast. The opportunities presented by the South Africa's leadership on the G20, the patriotism and resilience of our people, accompanied by the strategic reforms, will propel us towards financially sustainable, economically resilient, and socially inclusive Eastern Cape. With the encouraging progress lies the reality that our citizens are still yearning for improved service delivery. We therefore have no illusion on the work ahead of us, and we are banking on the leadership at all levels of our government for stewardship in the management of public resources, instilling a sense of discipline and accountability where there is a persistent departure from the expected norms. In our engagement with the AG, the issue of consequent management has been highlighted as inhibiting the progress that we can make as a province, and both of us, myself and the Honourable Premier, had to commit to attending to this, and I believe the Speaker had to make the same commitment for the legislature. The following under budget allocations that will drive our programs for the financial year. Our total budget is 519.185 million, administration 224 million, sustainable resource management 86, asset and liabilities 34.980, finance and government 103, and municipal finance government 68. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all members of the Executive Council, led by the Premier, for their guidance and support. And I also extend my thanks to all the oversight structures that have played a crucial role in helping us fulfill our mandate with the highest standards. And lastly, I would like to thank the HOD and the Treasury team. I hereby table the 2025 strategic plan, 2025-2030 strategic plan, and the 2025-26 annual performance plan for adoption. I thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. The policy speech and all table documents stands referred to the portfolio committee responsible for the subject matter of the vote in terms of Rule 160, subsection 2. Honorable members and our guests that are still here, this brings us to the end of the business of the day. The House will adjourn until further notice. The House is adjourned. Thank you.